and welcome to the actuality. You've been dreaming, but we're calling you back. Come home. Come home, all of you. Come back to the actuality. Welcome to Invisible Sun. I'm Darcy Ross. I'm guesting on One Shot today to bring you a sneak peek of the game of surreal fantasy, the game of secrets and spiders and hidden knowledge and humanity and souls and suns called Invisible Sun. This is a game that is not out yet. It's going to be coming in February, March of next year, but we have a prototype of the game here, and we're going to be showing you the first session, which is kind of like character generation, but it's kind of like the players have gone home and figured out a little bit about their characters, and then we come together to figure out how they're related and what kind of lives they're leading before we dive into the narrative. James, is there anything you want to do to introduce?
We're using the world and character creation tools that you see. This is the first time anywhere outside of Monty Cook Games that people get to see them. I'm really excited. I backed Invisible Sun at the Kickstarter stage, and I checked it out a little bit at Gen Con this year, and there's just a lot of cool stuff going on. Like, we're going to explain the character sheets in a second,
Holy smokes.
Based on our magical order, we have different character sheets. It's not off, it is unplugged.
Oh, James.
Would you like me to stop and restart?
No, we're good. All right. Yep, my mic was just unplugged. Okay, back on. I got to check out Invisible Sun a little bit at Gen Con, and there's a lot of rad stuff going on. The character sheets look different based on the type of magical order you are, and they're like thematically aligned that way. It's super rad. Darcy, I want you to take us away because there's so much cool stuff about this that I cannot wait to get in other people's heads.
Super cool. I think there's a number of facets of why Invisible Sun is doing things differently, and that generally makes it hard to explain in a quick sentence. So we're gonna show off a couple reasons that it's different and cool and worth playing, right? So one of the reasons is sitting in front of us. So this is, it's a game that Monty Cook designed because he wanted to celebrate how rare it is that we really get to sit down with each other as a gaming group. Like a lot of gaming groups have trouble scheduling, right, as you get older, and we play a lot of games online, and that's really helpful and awesome, but there's something special too about getting to sit down physically with each other and share the joy of touching something beautifully made, right? And so a lot of work is going into creating a beautiful object to build that game around and to interact with, an object that you get to learn more about as you go. So that's what the black cube is. So this is the sort of core, this is the core rule book of Invisible Sun, okay? It's this origami folding black cube full of strange compartments. What we have here today is a prototype, so it's going to look even cooler, but fundamentally it holds the 4 rule books, it holds dice and Sooth deck, so important divinatory tools and mechanics. So part of it is just the creation of the object with which you play. Tons of decks with all sorts of magic and useful / necessary tools to the game. So part of it is we made a beautiful object or are making a beautiful object. And then another part is the setting is really leaning into the surreal. So this is, I think sometimes people can feel like wizards get all the fun in D&D, right? And I love playing non-wizards, but wizards have, magic's cool. Magic's cool, full stop. I'm not going to apologize for it. Magic's cool and great, but you have to achieve party balance in some games, right? So this is also a game that lets you really think about what's possible about reality and what's possible in magic, and you have a whole team of people who are able to interface with reality and magic in interesting ways. So it really celebrates what magic can be and things like that. So that's a big fun part of it. And the setting is very surreal. So let's talk about that for a second.
Sure.
So I opened with asking you to escape shadow and come into the actuality with us. So the premise of Invisible Sun is that the world that the 4 of us are sitting in and all of you are sitting in is a lie. So this whole pocket dimension is a lie. you're a lie. So the idea is that, if this world is a lie, if we were magic users, if we were real people, we would wake up and find ourselves back in the actuality, the real world, which is a world where magic is real and where strange, impossible things to our minds are real. So the idea is that these three characters used to live in the actuality, this surreal world where they could use magic. A horrible war happened, and they went into hiding into shadow from whatever the enemy was. So they have recently come back into the actuality, and they're sort of finding out what their old lives were, or picking up, old relationships and goals, and they're exploring the world. So we're kind of going to get to see this surreal fantasy world through their eyes. So that's a pretty cool part. And I guess what's the final thing that's really important about Invisible Sun is that what really drives the fiction is the character arcs. So I don't come up with some grand plan. I react to what they're doing. So these guys are going to be driving the story, which is great because they're great storytellers. So we're going to have a good time. So why don't we meet these characters, if that sounds good to you?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right.
Let's do. First, we should actually meet our players.
I guess you're all a lie anyway.
So yeah, you all know Darcy. Darcy is going to be our game master for this. Does Invisible Sun have a special word for game master?
I
Or
think
is
it's called Game Master.
All right, going with the classics. So Darcy will be our game master for this. And I want to note really quick that Mel is going to be on the 1s and 2s. So when you see rad transitions or you notice a problem that needs to be solved, you can panic at Mel and she will panic with you. And as far as our players, sitting across the table is Alan Linick. You might recognize him from the Dungeon Dome. You might recognize him from our Torg episodes or his own podcast, TLDM. Welcome, Alan.
Thank you.
And then there's Cat Cool, who you might recognize from the Dungeon Dome campaign, just a lot of things, an obnoxious amount of things. Cat, say hello.
Hi.
And then there's me.
There's this guy.
James D'Amato. You might also recognize me
For
from
being
the Dungeon
obnoxious.
Dome, for generally being obnoxious, for the One Shot podcast and talking about kobolds on Twitter. We're all going to be playing different characters in the Invisible Sun. Darcy, how do you want us to start introducing these folks?
Yeah, I think what I'd like to hear is just give me kind of your general character pitch. So say, what your character's name is, kind of what life they're leading in the actuality, and if you know what they were doing in the shadow, you could share that too. And then share your order. I think that's, how you interact with magic, because that's kind of a major part of it. And did you all pick fortes?
Yeah.
You did. Share your order and forte. So character intro, name, forte, and order.
Sure. Okay.
All right. Should
Who do we want to work up to? Do you want to go first or last?
well, either way, you're going in the middle. Don't you usually like to go last?
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay.
Well, let's let the Sooth deck decide.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yes, there we
That's the
go.
Invisible Sun answer. Okay, so you each picked a Sooth deck card. So this is, let's see, I'm not sure if it's super visible, but yeah, let's do this. So here's what it is closed.
We do need our streamer for that.
That's okay. So the Sooth deck is a tool, an important mechanic in Invisible Sun. So we'll be using these for lots of reasons, but for today let's get can you get a good look at that foil?
We got that going though?
There we go.
Okay.
Ooh, strange symbology, pretty cool. It opens.
Did we just lose it?
It blipped in and out.
Blipped.
Is it okay now?
Okay, back on that.
Okay.
Okay. Boop. So, it's a deck of circular cards that have art on them and other sort of numbers and symbols, and you use them for various reasons, and we'll get to that. But for right now, all of your cards, I asked you to pick one that spoke to you. Mm-hmm. They should all have a number. So why don't we just go in order of the number? Let's start easy.
I have a 0.
That will, let's see. You get to go last.
Cool.
I have a 1.
You have a 1?
I have a 2.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, there we
Low
go.
numbers.
There we
Love it.
go.
This bodes well.
So So you start then, if I'm going last?
Sure, sure. So my character is Calvin Weaver. That was his name in the shadow. And ironically, outside the shadow, or perhaps by reasons that have nothing to do with irony, Calvin is of the Order of Weavers. Those are spellcasters who don't see magic as a rigid thing. Magic is broken down into several component parts that can be changed, twisted, and woven together to create new spells. So he's very much of like the ethereal sort of nothing is really defined or nailed down, and almost never does the same thing with magic twice. He is, let's see, we were going on to our, what did we want
Yeah.
after order?
Let's see. What about your forte?
Oh, his forte is walks the path of suns. So it is about exploration and understanding, about learning things, specifically about magic, about the multiverse and the worlds beyond the shadow. Calvin emerged from the shadow relatively recently. He's just getting used to the actuality and like the idea that up until this point, everything in his life has like kind of been a lie, and adjusting to a world that he could have really only dreamt of before he stepped outside the shadow. And so walking the path of suns means he is enthusiastically looking into every aspect of this new world and trying to learn about it and understand it and really live it.
Great. Did any of you pick hearts? I'm not sure if I explained those to you.
I did, yeah.
Oh.
I picked a heart as well.
Okay, cool. It's about your personality, so, but I think you guys are...
The hearts are essentially the humors.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So
I will pick one as soon as
Cool.
possible. But
Sorry.
I need the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So why don't you share your heart and then...
so I was actually stuck between two. So
Yeah.
I kind of let's throw to Alan really quick.
Okay,
Great.
cool.
And bring him up to speed so that we can
Perfect.
compare and contrast.
Will do.
Who are you, Alan?
hi.
Really?
Who am I really? My shadow name was Wayne DeTulo, but I dropped the last name because, as it turns out, none of that like familial tie or any of that is real. So when I returned for my self-imposed exile/refugeedom in the shadow to the actuality, I resumed my previous life as just plain old Wayne, the Maker. Maker being a type of magic user who either uses their sorcery to enchant objects to kind of create like gadgets, for lack of a better way to describe them, usable gadgets or tools, or creates entirely new kinds of objects just out of like resources and magic to form things that probably shouldn't be possible from an engineering standpoint. So I am a maker, and upon my return to the actuality, I felt like something was not quite right. And as a matter of fact, that kind of influences my forte, which is that Wayne shepherds minds, which means that I can influence or communicate, interface directly with other people's thoughts and feelings and memories, and maybe even eventually glean or steal information from them, or change their memories, or even control their minds. And the thing that is bothering me is that I'm pretty sure that someone has tinkered with, toyed with, or somehow altered my memories. So that's something that I am currently working on uncovering. And what's the other thing? My heart? Is that the final one? Yeah, so I am a flame heart, right? So that means that I act, seems to me like the hearts are a way to describe like the way your character approaches problem solving, or like their strengths, basically.
Gotcha.
And flame heart being the heart that denotes like intuitive, kind of quick thinking approaches to things. So this all kind of ties into the maker style of like mechanically organizing magic into things. So the same way that Wayne approaches sorcery by making objects out of it is the same way he approaches people by tinkering with and trying to understand their brains, is the same way he approaches everything, which is just thinking quickly and moving based on his wits. And I really want to show off the maker
Yeah,
sheet
should we-
because it's so cool.
Yes,
So the
let's
maker
see if
sheet kind of looks like this, the tone.
Darcy's going to have to.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Cool.
Use the close-up
which
cam on
way
it.
is up? Is this right side up?
Yep.
There you go.
And it's designed to look kind of like a blueprint. So there's like arc lines in it, and it just is so flavorful to what the concept of the order is that I just couldn't help but want to show it. So I'm super excited to get knee deep in Wayne and figure out what the deal is.
Awesome.
So to respond to that, the heart of Calvin is the ardent or the storm heart. That's very based in like being reactionary and emotive, being sort of guided by your passions. Calvin in the Shadow was an artist, or at least went to art school. And outside the Shadow, in the actuality, Calvin uses like different strands of magic to make new things, and is very much guided by that passion focused in creativity and learning. And his storm heart, his ardent heart, guides him in that.
Cool.
Lovely.
So that leaves me. So I go by Kitty Heart. Kitty Heart has half of one, is the tagline for this little lady. In the Shadow, I think it's best to say she got by. That's really what it is. Before she came here, her family had a bar, and that's with like a whole lot of gambling, and that's what she's used to. So in the Shadow, she kind of picked up with that whole scene, owed a lot of debts, conned a few people, got by.
Bye.
But she's back now, and hey, things are looking up for good old Kitty Heart. She's a goetic, which means that the sheets are so cool.
They're really cool.
They're really awesome.
Goetics make deals with people. They put out a portion of themselves to gain power and get entities to do things for them. Let's see. The things to say. Her forte is splinters into fragments, which means that defensively and for other things, she breaks herself. Her heart, having looked through them instantly, the obvious answer is empath. When you con people, you need to be able to read what's going on there. So she's emotive, very emotional, reads other people's emotions, and acts and plays in that field.
In the actuality, you once sold a bridge.
Yeah. Clear story what's going on with good old Kitty Heart. Any other things to say at this point?
No, I guess I had a question. Did you say your family in Shadow was the one that owned a bar? Was it a family in Saturnine, which is the city that we're going to be in?
Yeah, that's the one. I left Saturnine when I was a kid. Yeah, so I grew up in Shadow. But back in Saturnine, my family is a bar.
Okay, cool. I'm excited to learn more about that. So, yeah, I guess my next question, and it's okay if you don't have a clear answer, like, can we figure out what your character arc might be right now? So character arcs are an integral part of the mechanics. It's not just
Absolutely.
asking nebulously. So there are real, there are tangible benefits that happen when you complete a character arc, good or bad, and it's not secondary to the game. It is what drives the fiction. So I have like a list of let me read like a couple examples just so we kind of understand where we're coming from with this. But it sounds like a couple of you have some ideas. So let me pull that up.
And while Darcy's pulling that up,
Yeah.
I'll show off the character sheet for the Weaver. Or I'll try to. Somebody is sitting on the cord.
No.
Oh yeah. Do you
I
want
don't think anyone
apostate
is.
advanced sheets too?
It's just
Oh yeah, probably.
maybe the table is sitting on it.
Something is sitting on it.
No, don't pull too hard.
Okay. Well, I've got it pulled up enough that I can look at the sheet. So let's take a look. That is the sheet for the Weaver. And here's the sheet for the Goetic again. So like we can see that already this is really vastly different.
Oh, here.
And so the two remaining magic schools, or what were they?
Orders.
That we didn't choose. There's the Vance, which is based on Vancian casting, so memorizing many different spells, and like as you can see, like the attention to detail here, the Vance has graph paper, which is so cool. And of course, there's the Apostate, the one who rejects formal orders, and their sheet looks like this. And you might have noticed that it's a little bit different than the other sheets in design. And it sort of blew us away.
There's no
so we
text
thought
on it.
you might get a kick out of it. Cool. Let's cut back to the wide here.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah.
So some examples of character arcs, if you want to hear about it, like something could be an assist an organization. So all three of you you may be involved with these organizations to different levels. It's kind of expected that you are, you're all different people. So there's the order, there's the Order of the Makers, and there's there's the Goetic organization, and there's the Weavers organization. So, you may want to be, rising in power within that organization. So maybe you want to help it out. Maybe you really believe in their principles and you want to advance our knowledge of weaving or of Goetic, principles. So that could be a character arc. Avenge, someone has wronged you or someone close to you in some way and you want to avenge them. Birth, you want to become a parent. Build, you want to actually build something, a workshop, something physical probably, but maybe not. Creation, cleanse, defeat a foe, defense, develop a bond, enterprise, establishment. So these are almost, these are really general, right? And so they're just kind of frameworks. But what's important about them, what is that some of them are things that seem to help you at the end of them, right? Like I create a thing and now I have a thing, yay for me. Other ones seem very negative, right? Like fall from grace. So this is something that gives your character despair. So there are two currencies for one kind of advancement because there's so many ways to develop your character that really let you follow your own fiction. But one way is by pursuing joy or despair. And so what's really interesting is you can't advance along that path with only one kind of currency. So you're motivated to both pursue things that are good for your character and detrimental to your character because that's how growth happens. So to have one advancement unit in that, one crux, is to have one unit of despair and one unit of joy, and them together is spent to advance.
Cool.
So it motivates, and sometimes I think, you're improvisers, you guys lean into failure and bad things all the time, and this is a game that represents how fun that can be, and how that's a more realistic character arc, right?
Right.
So,
How many character arcs are we allowed?
I mean, you'll be working on one, but you may be thinking you're working on Fall from Grace, but actually it turns out all right, and what character arc you actually pursued might have been something else, and so we'll
neat.
reflect it, yeah. But it's helpful to think about what your character's doing right now, or what you want them to be doing. So, yeah, and you're going to be having multiple arcs at any time, but for today, let's pick one. Because you all have kind of long-term goals. Some of them are very short-term. So let's think about one kind of immediate goal that you have, or one kind of arc that you want to have.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And let me know if you want more examples or if you have an idea, and I can help flesh it out.
No, I think I know mine already.
Yeah, what's yours?
Right? Because
This is
Wayne.
Wayne's, right?
Yeah. So before Wayne went to the Shadow to escape the war, the memories are patchy, but returning to it felt like returning to routine, where he lived a sort of normal as a life can be in Saturnine. He lived that before he went to the shadow. But returning, it seems like something's missing. And he's kind of boiled it down to that there's a person that should be in his family, in his life, that is not there anymore.
Yeah.
And no one seems to know where that person went or who they are or if they existed or not. And so far it seems like he's sort of been keeping it to himself because it seems like maybe people aren't aware that this person maybe existed or not. So my character arc that I've selected is to solve a mystery.
Oh, perfect.
Because I'm trying to figure out whether A, this person ever really existed or not, and B, if they were taken away from me and my memories were altered, or if they did it, like they
Right.
erased themselves to like
escape
escape from me or steal something from me.
Wow.
So I am desperately like, I need to know. I need to know why and how.
Awesome. That sounds like it's really driving your character. So
Yes.
that sounds perfect.
Ooh, boy, it just it makes me mad. Makes me mad.
Oh, excellent.
I have an easy, like, immediate one, which is that one of the many lesser deals with an entity
Yeah.
that I have made isn't going so well. It's like a long-term thing that keeps eking at me. This debt is becoming a problem, so I need to see this entity, either the deal nullified or the entity killed.
Ooh.
Settle a debt.
Settle a debt. I need to settle a debt.
Oh, man, however you settle it.
Whichever
Yeah.
way,
I love it.
it needs to be taken care of.
God.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
So I think for my character, I really pictured it as kind of a fish out of water, completely new to Saturnine, and doesn't have much established about themselves. So like a sort of larger, more ethereal goal that might be hard to sort of pin down. To be our immediate goal would be to like understand and like find a place for themselves in Saturnine. But I think an immediate goal that would strike me very well for like first sessions would be to make a powerful enemy.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah.
buddy. You don't.
I don't know
Oh,
anything.
you don't know anything yet. You want to know so bad, though.
Yeah, dude.
That's so good. Okay, make a powerful enemy. I love it. All right. So we'll dive more into those when we get to the first play session. But this is again about, it's character creation jazz. It's world building jazz. It's figuring out what matters to you all and what in the world you're interacting with, so that when we dive into our first session, you already feel like you're at home there, or at least as at home as you want to be. Super cool. So the next thing I want us to do, and just so the listeners know, this is not me imposing a structure. This is what's recommended that every campaign go start with. So you have a little homework where you think about what kind of character you want. You come to the table with some things picked, and then we build the world together. So it's really neat. Okay, so so now we're gonna zoom in on one character at a time. Okay.
Okay.
So let's follow the Sooth card again, if that's okay. Are we cool diving into yours?
Sure.
Ooh, never mind. Let's find out a new thing about the Sooth deck. Tell me what color is listed on your Sooth deck card.
I have 2 listed.
Ooh.
Is that normal?
Yes, mine
Okay.
has 2 as well.
Okay.
Excellent.
Where?
Down at the bottom?
Should be a color. Unless it's invisible, maybe.
No, hers is even stranger.
Ooh, what does it say?
Let's do hers last.
Oh,
Okay. So the suns. This is the path of suns. We should introduce that, as that's kind of what James's character, Calvin, is exploring. So there's the actuality, right? And so the different suns are kind of different locations. They're different, you could almost think of them like different worlds, but really what they are is the same world, the same reality that's vibrating at different frequencies and superimposed. So when you vibrate to the right frequency, when you vibrate to the silver frequency, you go to that top sun up there. If you vibrate at the green frequency, it's the second one. And so what the Path of Suns is representing is the way that magic flows from these different places / states. So there's a lot about this that's metaphor and magic versus form. But yeah, so we'll dive deeper into that. The other aspect of this, besides the fact that it's places and besides the fact that it's kinds of magic. Oh, thank you. Wow, this
Laser
is
pointer.
serious business. Yep. This is also thought to be the diagram to the human soul. So a lot of Invisible Sun is exploring humanity and what it means to be an entity. So we'll dive more into that later. But basically what you want to know is we have 8 suns. No, wait, is it, I don't want to get the number
think it's
right.
8.
It's 8?
Yeah.
And then the invisible sun, which exists outside of and over and is sort of weird and special. So silver, green, blue, indigo, which is where we are, is the city that we're in, is all in indigo. That's next to gray, which is what illuminates the shadow. So that's the realm of lies. We have pale, the realm of, or the state of degeneration and decay. We have red, and we have gold, which is about rebirth and new beginnings. The invisible sun is over here, and that's very special to magic users for reasons we'll get into. So what I'm saying is, I'm going to order you based on where you fall in this alignment, in the path of suns. So does anyone have silver, green, or blue?
I have gold and silver.
Gold and silver. Ooh, you're right at the boundary between creation and the act of rebirth. So very cool.
What did you
All
get?
right.
And I have blue-red.
And you're blue-red.
I wound up being Nemesis.
Ooh.
Invisible sun. That's delightful.
Yeah.
Cool. That's not going to be as easy.
What does that mean?
Womp womp.
Yep. Sorry.
Kitty heart.
Yeah. Excellent. Perfect. So, luckily, there's like an instruction manual for some hints as to this. So your card is Devil, right? Mm-hmm. What's the number? 0.
0.
Beautiful. Is Devil really not on here?
Oh my goodness!
It's a secret even from me.
I'm sorry.
Beautiful. No, that's so good.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Darcy.
There's it has a number, but it's
Good.
Okay, yes, I got it. All right. Excellent. So some cards are special. I will put you at red.
Cool.
Unsurprisingly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Super cool. So I'm gonna say that new beginnings and rebirth. That's gonna go first. So so we're gonna dive into your history.
Okay.
So first I want to know, we live. So like let's physically anchor your character. Okay. We're in a world of surreal fantasy, but let's give it some ground to stand on. So you are in indigo, which is the realm of truth and reality and meaning, and things like that. And if we could get an overhead shot, we have a map of the biggest city in Indigo, which is where a lot of Vizsla hang out and learn, and it's sort of where all of these magic organizations take place. So let me see. Yeah. So Saturnine, the city of notions. So you are all, I'm going to place you all in Fartown. So we have these different districts of Saturnine. Fartown is down somewhere pulled out, because you are all jerk Vizsla, and so you're always experimenting with magic and messing with things that you maybe shouldn't, and things go wrong. And so partly to protect the rest of the city from you jerks, you exist in kind of a half-world, sort of sitting as a bubble just outside of Indigo.
So, wow, I'm actually just now learning that not everybody is Vizsla in
Yes. There's a
Saturnine.
lot of people in Saturnine, which is what we'll kind of be painting a picture of. So, some people are humans, are real people.
Okay.
They just aren't big on magic.
Sure.
They maybe don't have a lot of ability, or they don't choose to engage in it. They might have a couple hexes or some charms. Maybe they have a useful magic item or something, but they don't live and breathe magic and knowledge like you do. Lots of the people, if you're walking down a street in Saturnine, though, lots of the people are actually thought forms. They are husks that look like people that are sent on simple tasks by powerful magic users, and so there's tons of these around. There are also beings that are not human, that are also sapient. So we'll dig into that, but a lot of what you'll notice when you're in Saturnine is that there's a lot of emptiness because of that war. It decimated the city, and there are whole regions of that map that are not that are really dangerous and no one goes to right now.
Okay.
So you are all in Fartown, though. this is I'm not sure where it is on the map because I can't see it, but that's fine because it exists kind of outside of Saturnine anyway. There's a gate that lets you in there, but it's physically removed from the city. And what's important about it is it's this, very, I think about it as Paris in the 1920s, all of these really great thinkers and weird people hanging out and having parties and making weird stuff. That's kind of what it's like. So it's got this 1920s vibe to it. It's kind of bohemian and and it's a good time. So let's say that you all live there. So
Cool.
where does Calvin live? Now this is your foundation. So do you have a house? Is it a big house? Is it a mansion? There's a specific list, so let me find them. But we'll pick out whatever sounds good to us. And maybe you don't live in a house. Maybe you wander the earth or live in an alley. There's alleys. There's herds of butterflies that maybe are stable enough to have rooms. Who knows?
So my in my head for Calvin, I picture at the start of whatever game this would be, is he's popped into the
Right.
Indigo Sun world that day. So right now he probably doesn't have a house.
So I think you're itinerant. You have no permanent domicile, but you have connections to others in Saturnine or beyond.
Ooh.
Cool. Oh no, or are you? So it's day one.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you? Let's see. I guess the question. So you don't think you don't know anything about this world,
Right.
But people might know you. So let's ask: do people know you or not? Because that changes us
I think
between.
It is more interesting if I had this whole other life that I'm just now discovering.
Cool.
I think to most people, Calvin would be like, well, I was probably born in the shadow, right?
Yeah.
Because I lived my whole life there. And that's wrong.
Awesome. All right, let's call you mendicant. You have no permanent
Mendicant.
domicile, and you have few or no connections to others.
And is that my foundation?
Yes.
Okay.
Cool, I like that. So that'll be interesting. So maybe we'll be fleshing out either the neighborhood that you're going to kind of make your first connections in, right? So wherever you popped out in far towns, let's find out what that's like. So how we're going to do this is we're going to establish some things about the world that you just stepped into. So first we're going to pick two neighbors that you have, so two people who are around there, okay?
Fun.
So
Yes.
you get to sit this part out for a minute now, and
Okay.
we get to.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So let's think of what are some ideas you have for a possible neighbor for our dear or a person who is living where Calvin pops out. And we'll get a couple ideas, and then we'll kind of choose and flesh them out.
Sure. I think one is a milliner that is the shopkeep that he happens to be posted up in the alley of.
A milliner,
A hat maker.
a hat maker.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Being a hat maker in this setting is a
Oh.
buck wild challenge to take on.
It's like the robber barons. It's like a train.
The idea of heads is
Oh, yeah.
way different.
You know
Just
what?
Way different.
As
This
a matter of
person's
fact,
a very serious person.
yeah.
yeah. As a matter of fact, I got your other neighbor. If you want a weird head
Yeah.
character, this person's name is Libralight, and instead of a normal head, it's two ends of a book, and
Nice.
they're a flip book that
Yes.
never ends. So their
Ooh.
expressions and
They
mouth
don't
moves.
speak.
Yeah, it's just a flip book, but there's an infinity pages, and it's just constantly flipping.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, let's come up with 5 before
Okay,
we even
great.
commit to 1. Let's just get weird here, right? Because we may just these things may pop up more and more, right? There's lots of
Yep.
Okay.
Libralight is Libralight's one. He's a weaver clearly, and he is not the right term because the face is as it flips is constantly changing
Ooh.
gender, species,
Is it
all
sapient?
kinds of stuff. There's a body, but it is just kind of pages. It's just
Ooh.
a living, moving literature.
All right, so we got a hat maker. We got Libralight.
Yeah.
I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. I'm pronouncing it like a Pokemon.
It's
sorry.
pretty close. It's
Libralight.
just Libro and
Libralight,
then
that's
L-I-T.
good.
Libralight.
Nice. All right, what's a third?
A family of rats.
Nice.
But it's like a sentient family of rats who is doing quite well for themselves.
A
who
well-to-do.
happens to live in this alley.
Excellent. Okay, beautiful. What's a fourth?
It's just like a cloud of smells.
Oh, nice.
Um,
But it's a neighbor, so
Yeah.
it's got will or
Yeah,
some kind
it's-
of direction. Cool.
Yeah, they own like a parfumery.
Ooh.
And as they like feel strong feelings, they bottle those scents and then sell the scents.
Beautiful.
Oh my God.
It sounds like he fell down in the Celestial Bazaar part of Fartown.
Yeah, I'm
possibly.
aware of what that is.
Well, Alan, it's right here on our map.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
I got a final one.
Oh, yeah, please.
A sausage salesman.
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah.
yes. Beautiful. Okay.
Just like a regular looking person.
Yep. Regular Joe. Sausage
Awesome.
salesman.
Great.
Beautiful. Okay, so
Yes, obviously the rats have little waistcoats.
And here's the thing about the sausage salesman. I don't know what they look like, but I know they look regular.
God, they're the scariest person out of everyone.
Yeah, what is in those sausages?
that is a problem. I wonder if Calvin would find himself drawn to such a regular
Obviously.
person. Okay, but we have to pick two. So
Oh no, we can't pick all of them.
I know. I mean, the other ones might show up, but we have to pick two who are like we flesh out, so that we kind of get more acquainted with these neighbors. So let's pick one. Let's see. I'm trying to remember if I'm supposed to let you pick.
Oh, or
I think. I don't think I was supposed to let you pick. I think we pick. Yep. Another important part. We'll let you like chime in once we're fleshing it out.
Okay.
But and another important thing is like for every little neighbor or point of interest that we come across, we need to think of whether it's overall like a good force in his life or a bad force or kind of neutral. And just like I was saying, you want both good and bad. Like basically, if we tally it all up and it's net positive, he'll get a joy. If we tally it all up and it's net negative, he'll get a despair.
sure.
And if it's all neutral, he gets nothing. So maybe like this is an encouragement to like lean into whether it's a bright and it's initially a bright and happy world or a bit of a scary world for poor Calvin here.
Okay.
So just keep that in mind. What's your of the five?
I really love like sausage normalman.
I kind of like sausage normalman.
Yeah,
too.
because
All
what
right.
is the deal?
What's going on there?
All right.
It's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Sausage.
Because if there was
Normalman.
a family of rats, it's the equivalent of if the family of rats lived in my neighborhood. I would be like, what is with this family of rats? But I feel like here, that's
Right.
normal,
That's a
boring
kind of
guy.
standard thing.
Beautiful.
I feel like he has like a real, like his name is like Daniel McPherson. Like it's something really normal.
Fuck.
All
God,
right.
this person is very frightening.
Yeah, he wears like graphic tees.
Right.
Oh, well, at this point, we've picked one,
Mm-hmm.
so let's do you have some details that your headcanon are for this guy?
Yeah, I
Let's
think
like,
everyone is afraid of this person.
Okay.
I think
Everyone's
everyone, like everyone else, everyone who lives here and knows what's up is like, you do not deal with Daniel
Right.
McPherson. They're a sausage salesman. Are you crazy?
yeah, exactly. Oh, beautiful.
And there's like it's like ordinary sausage making equipment in there.
Mm.
Like he
Yep.
does it by hand. It's a normal sausage house.
He might. I wonder if it's like, so there's a bit of a duality of nature in Invisible Sun that no form is without some element of magic, and no magic. There's some form associated with any kind of magic, even if it seems really ephemeral, right? So I wonder if he's kind of leaning so into the form and saying, I don't really use magic. I just make it with my hands and with technology, and that's like so. That's such a maybe that's a really. It's either people suspect he's using a magic that he's unwilling to talk about, or or is this a possible exception that something can be created without any magic associated with it? So, or is there some other reason that people fear him?
yeah. Or is there a magic that we just don't know what's going on?
That's true, which is even scarier as people like to know stuff in this world.
Yeah, and I imagine like everybody is like kind of really nosy. They're just like just as a general fact of life in Saturnine. But I think this is a thing where I haven't decided if it's better if there are just a lot of rumors that have circulated around this person, or if this person is really worthy of that immediate distrust and like fear that people have of them.
Awesome. So
I'm not sure which is better
I
either.
can't tell what's good. They both have so much merit, like in terms of story potential.
I mean, us being terrified of this person and you being chill with them is pretty good.
That's pretty good. That.
So tell me, the first time you meet them, like, or do you want to save this for role playing, or like, let's see, maybe how about he reminds you of someone, someone you trust, right? Because you just have a
someone who.
And you're drawing from your shadow world, like.
He looks like the pharmacist in my shadow world.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Awesome.
That's even creepier.
Yeah, you were an artist, right?
Yep.
Yeah, cool. Art school.
So I'm an artist. I have a lot of mental health issues, and definitely saw
and
a
you're seeking help
psychiatrist.
for them.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Exactly.
Awesome. Okay, pharmacist. I love it. Anything else someone wants to add about this person, or should we move on to the next neighbor? I mean, it's already ominous as all get out. I think we can solidly say
feel
it's a
solid.
despair
Yeah.
leaning.
Yeah,
I'd
desperately.
rather leave the rest up to mystery.
All right, I
Yeah,
think we will
absolutely.
encounter a Sausage Man, Sausage Normalson, or Daniel McPherson. We'll figure it out. Beautiful. Do we feel like we have a name for this person? Do we want it to be Daniel
I
McPherson?
think Daniel McPherson. I like McPherson.
Yeah.
Fear is in the name.
Ooh.
It's just.
And coincidence in Invisible Sun is something to be looked into, let's say. So that's, look into every coincidence. These things may be connected more deeply than you realize. So other things we had the Milner, the magic Milner. We had the Libralight. I'm just going to mangle all your names. I'm sorry. The page-built flip book person. We had a family of rats that's very well-to-do. And we had a cloud of smells that own a perfumery.
I like the cloud of smells. What do you think?
Yeah. There's something really visually appealing to me about the
About a cloud of smells.
The flip book guy.
I did like the Libralight.
Then let's go with that. Then let's go with the Libralight.
You get to add embellishments, but are you on the? You're okay.
I could go either way.
No, let's go with the Libralight.
Cool. Let's do it. All right. So, tell me more about this person. And since it's been picked, you can also join in. But I want details from everybody. So you had a pretty clear picture. This person is, it's like their form is very interesting and pretty unique, probably. Flip book kind of person.
Yeah. So they have like a head that's an open book.
Yeah, and their facial features, like where I'm moving and talking, this would be like as if someone is flipping the flip book. And my face is like moving as the pages turn.
Do the words appear on the page? Do you have to read to see what they're saying?
I talk in normal time, but like in letters.
But in letters.
I thought
really
it would
like
be
that.
even more abstract than that, in that they only communicate in images.
Oh, that's even cooler.
So it's just like flip book scenes is like how they convey themselves, and like to not put too much work on. To not put too much work in Darcy. Like she can talk to us, but like it's our understanding that
of course,
what's happening
Darcy
is a
can
herd
talk
of
to
dinosaurs is like.
Right, or like when they're scared, it's like the flip book is like a cat, like, and the hackles go up and the tail gets bushy.
Oh, that's so cool.
Ooh, wait, is this
A pop-up book?
Maybe they can do pop-ups
no, that's better.
too.
They can definitely do
very
pop-ups.
charming.
Flip books and pop-up books.
Well, I
Good
think that
Lord.
what's in them depends
change.
on their mood, like with their outfits.
Ooh.
They're fashionable.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
absolutely.
please.
They are
Like
a fashionable
I'm seeing
person.
pocket watches,
Yes.
multiple pocket watches.
Awesome. How is this person seen in the community? And they can be seen differently by different people, but
I feel like upstanding fellow.
Yeah.
This person is you had a negative, so let's give
Yeah.
you a positive. This person is a good fellow.
Yeah.
Cool.
This is the kind of person that like in Charles Dickens novels, like everyone like, oh, tips their hat to as they walk down the street.
Yeah.
Like, good day, gov, like whatever, and they
Yeah.
walk.
Awesome. So there's a secret language that all Vizsla share. Is this person a Vizsla? Is this a magic
Well, yeah,
user?
you said they were a weaver, right?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it is a weaver.
And I like the idea that this person is in my order and like sort of helps me
Nice.
Oh, they're a
figure out my
senpai.
stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
Senpai.
Oh gosh, that's beautiful. Awesome. Yeah. Anything else we want to flesh out about this person? I'm really intrigued.
I am too.
Yeah,
I want to know more
upstanding
about
weaver,
them.
pop up, or the form can change.
Old book people don't get gray hairs; they get old, dusty
Like
yellow,
yellow
pages.
pages. How old is this person? Is it like a?
They smell like a used bookstop.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
You know how like everyone's like, I love baby smell. Book people like new book smell.
Can I pitch something?
Yes.
Yes.
Can this person have been one of the few, gosh, what do they call them? Veterans of the war?
This
who
person's
never
definitely
died?
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
and was
for sure.
unwilling to share information about the war, as all veterans are. But you know that they've been around. through
Oh,
it. They've
shoot.
seen
Yeah.
some stuff. Yeah, so we're making the neighbors of Calvin here.
Yep.
And
I love
fleshing them
this
out.
book person.
I'm sad to leave them. I know we
Deeply-
have to
Is it
keep
too
going.
late to play book person?
Deeply evocative.
Damn.
I mean, you can always go to the changeries and get yourself remodeled in the form of book person.
Oh,
I mean,
cool.
that's
I might.
that's casual Vizsla, fashion. Super cool. Let's move on to. So we think that's a positive, right? So we had a despair-leaning one, a negative influence, and kind of a positive one. Now, whether you will know to take this person's advice immediately as a person who's helping you, we'll explore that through play. Sure. So why don't we pick 1 to 3 points of interest? So let me show you what I'm talking about. These are, so points of interest. So we're going to go through a couple points of interest, and then we're going to go through a couple local problems, issues, and rumors. So these could be a fountain that everyone gathers near. It could be, the hat shop. It could be, just like when you would describe the area that he fell into, what are some salient things that are out there to interact with? So why don't we come up with like,
So they are physical things.
not necessarily, but if I had a tour book guide of this neighborhood, they would be listed in bullet points. So maybe it's a thing that moves, or maybe it's something that only shows up once or twice, but it's some thing you can, it usually has some kind of form. You don't get to suggest. You
I
sit on
can't?
that. You suggest for them.
No!
I know.
Oh, man,
It
that's gonna
doesn't
be
mean you
brutal
can't
when
add
that
more
happens.
stuff later.
Yeah.
We could do it. This is the hardest part of the game.
This is very tough.
So,
This is
so
not
just
hard mode. I
points
know,
of
I know.
points of interest in like the neighborhood.
Yeah. Can you guys come up with 5?
Yeah.
start
Okay.
with?
So instead of like a wishing well,
Uh-huh.
it's like a feelings well.
Mm-hmm.
And you can, if you're carrying like an emotion or something that you just like don't want anymore, or you need to like get off your chest, you can pull it from you and like cast it into the
Beautiful.
well. And then likewise, sometimes people who come like who need like some kind of catharsis or like to commune with, like share
Yeah.
a feeling, you can come and like lower a bucket and drink from the well.
Beautiful. I love that. Awesome. I'm like holding off of trying to explore that more because we need to come up with a bunch of ideas and then
Sure.
explore
Yeah.
1 or 2 or 3.
There's definitely a goblin market where it is easy to obtain, difficult things to obtain. That is dark and small. And whenever you enter, it is acknowledged that you will have your pockets significantly lighter.
Oh yeah. Excellent.
Ooh.
Beautiful. What's another one?
There's a statue of it's just a lady on a horse. It seems it's like a very conventional statue, but it's your eyes just kind of like it's almost impossible to focus on it. Your
Yeah.
eyes just kind of like slide
over
off
it.
of it.
Yeah.
And it moves around the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And it's like almost like the children of Saturnine like play a game where it's like who can pinpoint it first that day or
Cool.
whatever as it moves around. Because even while you're looking for it, your eyes you just like it's really hard to like
Catch.
it's like a hole in reality almost, like you can't
Ah, beautiful. Your brain doesn't want to let you take that in.
Yeah. It's like it only exists on the periphery of your vision, and then it disappears when you try to focus on it.
Beautiful.
There's a playground, and if you catch it at the right hour, it is like normally people are playing on it, but they're at the same hour every day. It is magically like people aren't there.
Okay.
And if you and another person go to it to like sit on the swings or whatever, you will have a good emotional conversation.
Ooh.
Oh,
I love that.
it's like what's that show where they go? I'll think about it later. Ruin this with my pop culture reference.
No, you're good. What's another one?
Um,
So we've got, just to keep things straight, because we're throwing out crazy ideas here, which I love. Feelings Well, Goblin Market, the Imperceptible Statue, the Playground, which I love, and
yeah, it's just a vending machine
nice.
with like sodas and stuff in it.
Fuck yeah.
But when you push, like when you put in what you want in the vending machine, instead of shooting out a drink, it opens into a door, and that leads to the bar version of that drink. So like you're like, I want a Schlitz or whatever. Don't sue me, Schlitz. You punch in that you want a
In
Schlitz.
fact, give us money, Schlitz.
Yeah, Schlitz, you're welcome. You put in like, a coin or whatever, and you punch in the number of the like kind of drink or whatever you're interested in, and it opens to a doorway to a bar that is like that type.
Cool. Beautiful. And let's come up with one more. We have, like, we've got two people, so let's...
Yeah, sure.
Put you on the spot, sorry.
No,
Said
it's
five.
okay. So I think there's like this is the bazaar. So I don't want it to make it too ritzy
But
or
it
anything.
could be on the edge of the bazaar, and
Sure. I think that there is like a bathhouse,
Ooh.
Oh, that's fun.
and I think that there are like, it's like a public bathhouse,
Yeah.
right? And it with like saunas and things, with lots of different types of rejuvenating and other and decimating waters.
Oh yeah.
And there are lots of dark deals done
Nice.
at the bathhouse.
Beautiful. Yeah. Okay. Let's pick two. I think we should pick two to start. Just. I know. Okay. So we have Feelings Well. We have Goblin Market, Imperceptible Statue. We have the Playground with the, the
Emotional talks.
emotional hour. So there's we'll like Invisible Sun up all the names, vending machine, elevator, and bathhouse.
I'm really loving the black market bathhouse. That just seems like a cool place to have in your neighborhood.
Cool.
Okay.
Lots of like opportunity. I feel like that one just like immediately hooked me as like story potential.
What's going on there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What
you can jump in.
If
now.
we marry two ideas,
beautiful.
this is run by goblins.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's a goblin bathhouse.
Oh, I love goblins so much.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
a thing that you know about me already.
They might be Elderbryn, but we'll get it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Names.
Names.
They're goblins. They can be goblins. They're functionally can be goblins for this.
Elderbryn
Beautiful.
is a pretty name.
It is a pretty name. We'll find out how you feel about Elderbryn once we meet them.
Sure.
But tell me more about this bathhouse. I guess I could tell you a little bit about them. They're something they change form all the time. So that they have some maybe similar features that are in vogue, but they're really constantly on the edge of shape-shifting at all times. Those are the ones that interact the most with humans. There are at least some that are pretty secretive and kept away, but they're a decent population of Saturnines. You see them around. They're a little capricious. They're kind of hard, to nail down and get a straight answer from. They're perfect for running the bathhouse, if that's cool with you.
Yeah.
So tell me, is there anything about the bathhouse that you feel?
Yeah, so there are rejuvenating and desiccating waters that we've found, and I think I feel like it is in the bathhouse. Like there, no matter who you are, what you're looking for, like there is a pool there for you. But unless you are very clearly focused on getting that, you end up somewhere that is not good for you, that is not like perfect for you. So if you can enter the bathhouse with a clear purpose and mind, like you'll be fine. If not, you're gonna get into some trouble.
Interesting. So, yeah, how do we weave the like dark deals go down here? I mean, it's partly, that sounds like it's pretty difficult to navigate, which sounds like
Yeah, that
very
sounds
hard for
fun.
people to spy on you if they can't even, follow that same
If two
mental
people
path.
have to go in with the same purpose,
Wow.
otherwise they won't even end up in the same
Right.
tub together to meet.
Yeah.
Which is probably really useful for criminal dealings.
And also if that person is they have to be of really strong will if maybe they have the intention to deceive you, right?
Right.
Because you won't go somewhere that's bad for you,
Oh,
maybe.
yeah.
And
Well, I'm sure
there
there are
may be-
some people who just wait for prey. Because, like, if somebody doesn't have clear focus, like,
Oh,
they'll just
yeah.
end up in the wrong tub.
What do you think? Like
Yeah.
we could there's so many details we could give here. I want a little more. Maybe is there a proprietor, a certain proprietor of this establishment, or some particular, what other detail could we give this?
Yeah, the proprietor is named Guri Lebline,
Ooh.
and she is a Vizsla, and her forte is Hosa Legion.
Oh.
So she's got like
Yeah.
her skin is like almost bursting with like different entities that are contained inside of her.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
I dig it. I think that, so it's beautiful.
Okay. Yep,
And
definitely.
it is styled specifically after an existing relic present
Ooh.
elsewhere in the world.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And
Awesome.
said relic, while beautiful and renowned, is very dangerous
Yeah.
because it pays homage to some entity. So
Awesome.
everyone participating in the bathhouse's affairs passively pays up stuff to fuel.
They are functionally part of a ritual, an
Yep.
ongoing ritual, to do what, it's something, an homage
Something.
to something. Beautiful. Okay, I have some thoughts about that, but I think that's enough for now. Like, that's beautiful. How do you think your character would react to this initially? Like, what do we think? Do we think this, what do we think this might hold for you down the line? Do you think, are you going to stumble into this unknowingly? And, I
mean,
don't know.
obviously,
I
if
could see
there's
this going
something-
good or bad. This could be a neutral thing for him.
Yeah, for Calvin,
It's kind of a positive thing for the community. Hard to say.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of bad stuff comes out of there, a lot of good stuff happens. But yeah, I think either Calvin will initially have no problem navigating and getting what he needs out of the bathhouse.
Yeah.
And then will, at some critical point, not have that ability when he is like emotionally like faltered in some way, or he'll be so out of sorts and immediately get in trouble in the bathhouse. Either one is good for me, so I'd say that's neutral.
Yep, I think so. Perfect. Let's pick. So first of all, does anyone have some other idea they wanted to pitch that they're dying to know, or do we want to flesh out the feelings well, the statue that keeps slipping through your perception, the playground that has the special hour that opens for emotional conversations, or the vending machine that lets you through to an actual location that lets you enjoy that type of beverage or whatever.
I like a lot of those.
Yeah.
I like the
And is-
playground.
you
I
know,
like
there might
the
be some
vending
way to-
machine.
Mm-hmm.
I like the feelings well. I'd say one of those three. What are you feeling?
Playground vending machine feelings well.
Feelings well. The feelings well and the playground almost feel like they could be combined somehow.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Could it be something that, like, you have to have, like, it's not just a place where you can unload privately your emotions. You have to like work them
Publicly,
out.
you have to, like, do it.
process,
Yeah.
and then
Could
you
be-
can
You have
be
to do the
relieved.
work.
An emotional playground.
An emotional playground.
Like there's a seesaw where like if you get on the seesaw, like if you're up, you're like super happy, and if you're down, you're super depressed.
Jeez.
There's those heart-to-heart swings.
Ooh. That could definitely be. I would be happy to say, yeah, during the non-emotional hours, it's kind of a fun,
It's
you get
just
to play around with emotions and slash play,
Yeah,
right?
because the other thought
But the
that I
intensity is really,
Right, sure. But then once we hit that hour, it's useful for doing emotional labor.
oh,
We found it.
that's very good.
That is very good.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, that's beautiful. Emotional labor. Something like that. Awesome. Okay, so things we know about it. Do we think it has this well? Do you
Yeah.
still like that well idea?
Yeah.
I do.
I love that well idea because like the first image that I had in my
Yeah.
mind when somebody mentioned the well, when Alan mentioned the well, was just like this mafioso looking guy just dumping a huge
That's so good.
like bag full of emotion in the
Yeah.
well and walking away.
Like
Yeah,
allows him to keep
I
doing his
love
job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's very good. But like during normal hours, it is not useful for that.
yeah. Ooh, super cool.
And I also imagine that swing thing
Mm-hmm.
as like also like being cool, but being like a predatory trap as well. Like
Yeah, it's good.
It's like it pulls you into.
You
like,
have to
feeling
have a
that
heart-to-heart if
emotional
you are
fulfillment.
on those swings at that hour.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and like people end up like they end up like sitting on that thing that like just goes around in circles, and they have to get pulled away from them because that feeling like it feels good, but it's not like a real happiness.
Wow.
It's
Oh.
I like this playground.
It's false. It's
Yeah.
false
Yeah.
emotions.
it's like a self-medicating like problem where people go to this playground to like work through their
Oh,
garbage, and
no.
instead they
You
just
get
get like
addicted to
hooked on
feeling
the
it,
feeling.
right?
Yeah.
There's healthy processing and there's obsession.
Yep.
And,
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's
there's like
really
people
cool.
who slink around the playground or like are at the playground all the time, and people are like,
That's not
Wow.
good.
Yikes.
Like you
Yeah.
can
Lose
do
yourself.
good stuff with it,
Yeah.
and you can also.
I love that. Okay, that's really cool. Let's so it has this dual nature, which is beautiful. Do we think it holds? Do we think this is positive, negative, or neutral again? Like
It feels neutral to the neighborhood, but that doesn't dictate what your relationship with it is.
God, yeah. Well, I mean, we've established that in the shadow, Calvin grappled with emotions.
yeah.
So like this is probably going to be a thing that like he at first is like, this is great, this is perfect for me, and might be like too much.
Yeah. It's going to be really hard for you to control yourself around it or sort of resist its temptation, maybe.
Yeah.
To sink too deeply into those emotions.
I think at first it's going to be like, what an unbelievably positive effect this has had on
Yeah.
my life, and then it will go too far.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I'm going to chalk that down to a negative one. All right. So let us find out about local issues and rumors in this place. So this can definitely interact with things we've established. This can interact with things we've hinted at that might exist or
Sure.
not. So yeah, I mean, this could be, it's some event or rumor, gossip that's happening. And it could be good things, could be bad. So let's come up with let's see. Should we pick one or two of these?
of just like random
Yeah.
local
Gossip things.
like gossipy things.
Let's see if we find two we love, and then we'll pick those two.
Sure.
Let's come up with 6. We can do it.
Yeah.
Nothing from you, buddy.
Yeah, quite over
Zip your
there.
pips.
Doing the part
It's
where you're
hard.
in the
You
hot
guys
seat
are gonna
must
not like
be
it.
brutal.
It's really intense because you want to own it.
So I've got a bunch of ideas. They'll come up later.
Yep.
Sure.
You get to play them. You get to make stuff
Yeah,
up for us.
I know.
Okay. What do we got?
Secrets and rumors.
I can list off a couple to maybe like get
Sure.
you
Yeah,
thinking.
yeah. I'm just not sure how specific
Yeah.
or like.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Should they be
One
related to
moment.
the characters and places we've already come up with?
I think only if you're really excited by them, right?
Sure.
So let me give you a couple examples. So local issues, and they start out really simple, right? Because then we'll flesh it out
Sure.
together.
Sure.
So high amount of crime, vandals, young troublemakers, lots of new construction. That's neutral. rat or rat goblin infestation, negative.
Rat family.
Rat family.
Rat family. Large number of Elderbrin, neutral. Local. Oh, these are local issues. Interesting. So those aren't really
That's a different thing.
rumors. Well, those are.
Okay.
That's I guess what they have, but it could be rumors too, right? Local community is corrupt or kind and good. Things like that. There's a ghost infestation. So local issues affect a neighborhood and its residents, and they can be springboards for character arcs. So.
Sure.
But I don't feel, we can get a little more detailed than
I
that.
definitely want to have that rat infestation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can it be that rat infestation to this world is what gangs of troublemaking teens is to our world?
It's very good.
So the rats hang out and smoke cigarettes and
God,
graffiti cars and stuff.
I really like that.
those rats and their goddamn fidget spinners.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's say local maximum of rats. So we can dig into it and find out if it's a good or bad thing.
Yeah.
and,
Okay.
because maybe
Yeah.
they're
just
maybe they're the mob, but you need the mob because there's real bad guys that the mob's fighting against. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Okay, so rats. What's the next local issue, rumor, gossip thing going on?
I think that there is a persistent type of graffiti that means a thing.
Ooh. Okay. Awesome. Graffiti. That could be really interesting.
There's also rumors of an eminent domain thing that might be happening in this neighborhood, where maybe some wealthy group or governing body has development plans here that might be what's it called? Just forcing people to move or give up their houses and stuff.
Very
Cool. I like that.
Let's see. I think there's been
What did I
rumors.
do?
I don't know what he did, but it was huge.
Tell me what I did, chat, and I'll fix it.
I don't know what he did. What did he do? I don't know.
Damn the man, save the music. Is that what you're going to do?
Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe there's rumors that they're going to They did a thing in Chicago a while back that I didn't like, which was they privatized our whatchamacallits, our parking meters.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was a disaster.
It was
is
not
the
good.
word.
So I want to. What is this world's equivalent of that?
Gosh, so interesting. There are. Okay, so you guys are in Fartown, so you're through that gate, but there's probably some local mode of transportation. It might be. In my head, and I think there's probably lots of different kinds, but why don't we decide what the local kind of transportation? It might be horseless, weird,
Like rickshaws that just move?
Yeah, or it could be. I mean, what is it like? Do you have some ideas?
Ooh, could it be? There's so instead of public transportation where you get on you wait at a bus stop and you get on a bus and move. There are public transportation stations where you stand on basically a board, and the board and you stay stationary, but it shifts the world around you to the next stop.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So you basically get on and then get back off it right away.
Yeah, and they're going to change up how all of that works.
Awesome.
There's been here tell that's shifting, and people do not. People have opinions.
Yeah, some people at this table have opinions.
You can share your opinion. If it burns you enough to clap, you have to share it.
So, you mentioned horseless earlier. So there's obviously horses are not involved in this bit of transportation, but I think the horse lobby is really pushing to introduce horses to this method of transportation, which is completely superfluous, but the horse lobby is very strong.
Cute, James.
There should be something. Yeah. Okay. We'll dig back into that if we choose it. Ah, good. Okay. Horse lobbying.
So we need one more.
Yeah, we need one more. Rats. So we got rats. We got persistent kind of graffiti that we can dive into. Rumors of eminent domain sort of issues, people coming in and trying to push other people out. Privatized parking meters. So I think we need 2 more, but it's okay. So some kind of transportation issue.
So maybe there's like the equivalent of like a pothole in our world. So maybe there's like a pocket in this neighborhood where like it's just soundless. Like there's something happened and there's no sound. So if you walk into it, everything is silent until you walk out of it. They've been petitioning like the city to fix it.
The
for,
city's like, this is just inconvenient. It's not life-threatening.
But they're like, hey, yeah, I got a question. Like they go to town hall meetings and they're like, yeah, I got a question for you, mayor, whatever. What are you gonna do about that sound hole on 5th and 7th?
Sound hole. I was going to suggest it could be a hate cyst. So there are regions of the city that are either transformed by the war, right? So like horrible things, and there are strange effects on them, and they tend to be really dangerous. But I like the innocuous, but
The mayor is always like,
what are you
we
gonna
have
do
hate
about
cysts.
Yeah, are
Yes,
you
We
serious?
have
Exactly.
hate cysts.
Why
That's what
does-
the budget is for.
What are
No
you
one
gonna
cares
do
about my
about the
hate cysts
sound
or
hole?
my job creation policy. All I get letters about is this stupid damn sound hole.
Well, it's inconvenient.
I love the sound hole. Okay. Cool. Let's pick one of these to start with.
Yeah.
Okay. We have maybe trouble smoking, like,
Yeah.
Greaser
rival-
rats.
Yeah, exactly.
rats. We have
Giving you stink eyes. You like come out of the bodega.
persistent, potentially mysterious, or otherwise affecting you graffiti. There's a lot we can do with graffiti. Rumors of like people getting pushed out of this area, or like wealthy or powerful people taking it over. We've got the transportation issues, and we've got the sound hole.
It's all extremely good. Can you tell we're from Chicago?
Oh my God!
Hey, as we put together these rumors,
I really love.
Too real.
Like,
all
Why are we just
alderman
making
level.
it Chicago?
They're all like
Oh my
local
God, yeah.
local government failure.
I was thinking on the way here that like I was looking at the Chicago skyline and I'm like, I need to make a city that rivals Chicago. So I feel really good about that.
Yeah.
We're working on that hard.
We're getting there.
I think
You had an idea?
I really feel like I love the like mysterious graffiti.
Yeah.
Like
Cool.
the
I'm
idea of
tempted
like
by it.
like runes as graffiti
Yeah.
and people being like, we know it's here for a reason, but we have no idea.
We have no idea what it
Like,
is.
that's what you intend,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's where I'm going.
That's super
Yeah.
neat.
Where it's like very ominous, where it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
what is going on
like
with it?
you find like a summoning circle on like somebody's alleyway where they keep their trash or whatever, and nobody knows why it's there or what it
what
does.
it's doing.
I'm trying to figure out if there's any way to combine the graffiti and the sound. But it might be better. I like the sound hole so
The
much.
hound
by
hole is
itself.
pure.
It is.
Yeah.
I could work it in.
I mean,
but
you
I
can
don't-
you can combine the rats and the graffiti if you're looking to combine something.
But I think
They
part of
could
the
be
key
getting
element of
framed
that graffiti
for
is that you
it.
don't know.
We don't know.
right?
Yeah.
We can't know.
Maybe
But
they
the
pin
rumor
it on
could
the
be-
rats. Yeah.
So yeah, I think graffiti, leave it pure.
Okay,
Right?
graffiti. Okay, so we got. Am I right in that graffiti and sound hole are two things that we're really interested in, or?
The sound hole is so good.
If we don't have the sound hole in this game, I'm quitting.
It's like what people small talk about, like when they run into each other on the street.
Oh yeah, I got held up by the sound hole.
It's like, yeah, you know what? I had some loose change in my pocket and I dropped it in that friggin' sound hole. And I didn't hear it, and I went back and it was gone.
There's sometimes like a rumor of a second sound hole, and people just get
They
enraged.
get
They
furious.
flip
Yeah.
out.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. All right. So you can jump in on this now. Jeez.
I love this sound hole. I
Let's
think
start with the sound hole. We're really on the sound hole. Let's like flesh it out and move
Sound
on
hole-
from this.
sound
Tunnels
hole-
are a
sound
problem,
gave
Darcy.
Dude, for real. You know, and every winter it comes back.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
They gave it. We clearly have a visceral reaction to the sound hole.
Okay. So let's find out more about the sound. Okay. So I feel like all right. Let's establish some things. So this is like really motivating some parts of the community to like they're really passionate. And maybe it's that magic that requires verbal components can't be cast in there. That's really disruptive.
Yes,
right?
it is.
If you drop your
I'm a
change,
namer. If that sound hole's there, I can't do my job.
Does it stay in the same place? Is it in a really busy area? Does it move around? What's happening?
It definitely,
Fluctuates.
yeah,
within a
it grows and
central
shrinks.
area.
Yeah.
Ooh, cool. I like that.
Maybe it's not even like a perfect like
Right.
geometric shape. So like it's just like there's like tendrils of it.
Yeah.
So like if I walk into it here, maybe it like cuts
Oh.
the sound from my face, but the rest of me still makes.
Ooh, interesting.
Stuff
It's
like
hard to like. Yeah, I like that.
It's just shapes. It's just like
Yeah, and maybe it
nebulous.
extends really far up sometimes, and like via people who are transporting themselves by hovering or something get like extra affected, or maybe they're carrying some sort of piece of equipment and it can move all around.
I think
drove too fast through the sound hole and it ruined my engine. It doesn't make sounds anymore.
wherever it
Permanently
is, it definitely echoes whatever the biases of the area are. I don't know if like we're on money or I don't know what the
Yeah.
city's biases are,
Ooh.
but it makes those clear, because they maintain the roads elsewhere, but they don't where the sound hole
Cool.
are.
Yeah.
I love that. Excellent. So that's like a really local problem.
Yeah.
Why don't we let's find out a little bit about what that bias is, and then I think we have
Sure.
enough to work with. So is that if we not to
Are there lore biases built in that might be
Yeah, that's
useful
the-
here?
Oh yeah. So there are, I think, one thing that strikes me is there are one of the other. So there are humans. There are Elderbrin, which have a big population, and then there are Lacuna. They look like nothing. They look like a gap in reality. They look like a dark, can't see through them, but they're sort of humanoid, and they can talk and speak, and they have feelings. They're not thought forms. They're real sapient people, but they're very furtive, and they mostly stick to themselves. They're poorly understood, and and it just unnerves people that they give so little information about themselves. Right?
Sure.
They're gaps in space is what they appear as. So I'm wondering if that's something that is it that they're being pinned on local lacunae? Is that a local den of them? Is that where they hang out and are not as sort of a they tend to stick together because they're so marginalized?
Sure, species doesn't make sense to me.
I feel like it's an ethnic neighborhood, and people are like, well, ever since they put in that special housing,
Oh,
there's been a sound hole.
cool.
I wonder whose fault that is.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds really good. Does that sound like that sounds like a negative thing to me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Beautiful. So you're gonna walk in on a mired situation here. Okay, graffiti.
Graffiti.
And
Yeah.
we don't have to flesh anything out too much, but like,
Right. Yeah.
so-
I mostly want to give that to you to be able
Cool,
for
to
you to
work
go
with.
crazy on. But do you have
Yeah.
any things that you really want to establish about it?
see.
I think it's just like it's clearly all connected somehow, right? Like
Definitely.
so that it's like
Cool.
like
We can
what
tell
would
that
be
it's
like
connected.
a calling card for
Yeah.
our world, whatever that means.
I want
Yeah.
it to like glow.
Yeah.
I think glowing's
Cool.
cool.
Let's have it glow. Absolutely. Awesome.
Not like keep you up at night.
No,
like,
no, no,
Just
no.
like
Just like
a soft.
This is definitely.
It's happening again.
Why
Yeah.
hasn't anybody?
Um,
What's
I-
going
I'm
on?
wondering if you occasionally see like young Vizsla like studying it angrily. It's almost like a puzzle that someone
Right.
can't solve. Yeah. Okay. Mysterious graffiti. I love it. We'll dive more into that. Is that positive, negative, or neutral?
Whew, good
hard
question.
to say.
It's very hard to say.
Might be a neutral.
I mean, at this juncture, it'd
Yeah.
be cool if it's positive, but I don't know, and I don't want to
Yeah,
dictate
for
Yeah.
right
you.
now it's neutral.
Cool.
But
Yeah, I
people,
wonder-
their hackles are up over it.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Perfect.
feel like it could easily be pushed into a positive if the
Right.
community interprets it as like something special just for
Yeah.
us. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah.
because it seems like unusual is not unusual in
Right.
this
Yeah.
world. So maybe it's
They might
like
be.
a fun thing for them somehow.
Yeah, it could
Yeah.
be. There are plenty of ways it could be good. There are plenty of ways it could be bad. Right now, it is question marks.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that's it for that. So let's
Cool.
tally
Hot
it up.
seating.
We have the pharmacist who
time.
looks very normal.
The
to
sausage
you.
maker.
Sausage
yeah,
maker. Sorry.
who looks like
who
my
looks
pharmacist.
like your pharmacist.
Oh, what a creep.
So that's a despair. So one for despair. Okay. We have the senpai, the man who has the folded book appearance, the sort of pop out,
Yeah.
images that
Fan
that
favorite already.
he uses to absolutely to communicate. He's a weaver. He's very upstanding in the community. Definitely a positive influence.
Good old book smell.
I love it. There is the bathhouse where there's good things await you if you're really focused on what you need, what you want, and you can get into some less good situations if you're not really focused, and a lot of deals go down there. So that's sort of a neutral force, is what we decided. We have the playground of emotions. So there's a well that during that. So is the well related? Is that
Yeah.
okay? How does the well related?
I think it's in the park.
It's a part of the playground, so it's only during those hours that it functions. But it does the other. You can what was it? Purge emotions or
Yeah, you can like, it's almost like a pensive,
Yeah.
but for feelings. So you just like pull
Cool.
your feelings out and leave
And
them.
but it also tends to kind of it's very tempting to go like wallow in those emotions too, and so we think it has a negative influence for your character because it's very tempting to go. You think you're really excited by all this emotional playground, but you're not prepared to have the will to fight it yet.
Right.
So that's another for despair. We have graffiti, which is neutral because we're not sure what's up with this mysterious glowing graffiti yet, and we've got the sound hole, which is negative. It's like rising tensions in this community. Super cool. So you are awarded 1 despair. So write that
Okay.
down somewhere.
Do I
Congratulations.
put it under my current despair?
Yep. And you get a wicked key. So wicked keys are literal objects in the game that look kind of like keys, but they are used to open, unlock, or even like kind of solve anything. So if I'm fighting, it could be there's a door that's locked and I want to open it. A wicked key is a very special kind of object that you can find that unlocks something. And yes, you could unlock that door, but you could also, if you're trying to get past this guard and he's really giving you trouble, maybe it's one of these goblin bathhouse guys are giving you trouble, you can stick that key into his heart or his head, and it will turn him to unfold for you and like let you pass, right? So they're
Cool.
very, very powerful items.
Where would I put that on my sheet?
So
Under
you get to
secrets
give
or
it away
valuables?
to one of these 2 people for an idea they had. So what's your favorite idea of the current things we have?
You know what? I gotta give it to Alan with that book, man.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
Bookman.
Man.
is a fan favorite.
So you put it in valuables? Or-
Let's see. Is there a wicked key area?
There's not a
I
specific.
have a
valuables.
possessions.
Yeah,
section?
possessions or valuables will do. It's a physical object you have. Very precious.
Wicked key.
Yeah.
And is it like a expendable item? Okay, cool.
Yep.
So I want to
Put a
be
little box
very
by it or
careful how I use it.
Right. Exactly. It goes away after
Okay.
you use it, or it's only good for that purpose, right? Awesome. So we went with James because he was at the top between Rebirth Gold and Creation Silver. And then I think I put the Devil down as red. So I think you're next. Cool.
Ooh.
So let's see.
Hot
Kitty.
eaten.
Yeah. So Kitty remembers more of her life.
Yep.
From before Shadow.
Yep.
And the family still has a bar, or at least that bar still exists.
Yeah, the bar's
So,
around.
Awesome. So this is probably a different part of the neighborhood, maybe of Fartown.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So
The
let's.
bar is definitely in Fartown.
cool. Perfect. Alright.
So I'm pretty sure that when I was a child, we don't live at the bar. My God, most people in the family do not live at the bar.
Okay.
I used to live at the estate. We're fairly well to do because of the bar situation. But now that I've come back, I left when I was a small child. I've come back as a young woman. It'd be kind of weird to live there, and I don't know those people
Yeah.
really. I don't
Yeah.
have much of a connection to them. They still support me, but now, thank you.
Thank you, Rourke.
Yeah, thanks, Rourke.
Oh my gosh! Wow, that's really sweet.
Not
you.
living at the estate, definitely living above the bar in the in the housings there, because it's like a casino bar style downstairs,
Yeah.
and then tavern housing upstairs.
Cool.
So I've been staying there for several months.
Nice.
Cool.
So let's figure out what your foundation is then. Do you let's give it a name. Are you? Yeah.
Definitely
So
that's
it
a
doesn't
good
sound
name,
like
yeah.
established. It's not really your own house.
No.
But it is kind of a permanent. Maybe it's not a permanent domicile.
It's a
maybe it's itinerant, right?
semi-permanent
You're
residence.
renting.
It's as
Yes.
permanent as she gets at this.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you feel like?
Yeah, I don't think I pay much in rent, but I do work for the family enough to, I'll run tables and things to,
Yeah.
if I put in enough work every month, I get to keep the bed.
Beautiful. I think you're connected. I think, So I think you're itinerant. So you have some connections to others in Saturnine for sure.
Yes.
But and you're living somewhere, but it's not a permanent domicile that you own. Perfect. So itinerant, which will matter later. Super cool. So let's talk about your neighbors. So some of these might be neighbors within the bar. You know, might be people who are also kind of similar to you, renting out on a more long-term basis than you.
Yeah.
Or maybe it is a fleeting person who's just
could-
really big in your life.
Yeah, I doubt that they extend similar arrangements to non-family
That's a good
members.
point.
But I do imagine that plenty of people buy monthly rooms.
Right. So let's come up with, let's see, 4 or 6 of those, you know, depending on how motivated you are. So you've had a bunch of ideas you've had to sit on. I'm sorry about that, buddy. And we're fleshing out the area around the bar, too. So feel free to...
Yeah, I think in this area, one of the people renting out the rooms currently is a wicked rumor.
Ooh.
There's just a rumor that's taken up residence in this place that's
Nice.
been going around.
Specifically about the
Wow.
musical Wicked.
Yeah.
Wait. So it is the entity who is living there
Yeah, it's
a
a
wicked rumor.
It's a wicked rumor.
That's neat.
I was spelling it Roomer, and now I know Rumor.
Yep.
Awesome. Super cool. Is it... Yeah. Okay, cool. We'll flesh that out more when we get there. Awesome. What ideas do you have? And again, it could be someone who frequents the bar. It could be, a neighbor to the bar. Something. It could be a mansion next to the bar. Some guy who lives in an alley.
Yeah, I think someone is like long-term renting one of the rooms.
Ooh, yeah.
And is constantly conducting like magical experiments. So they're like just the classic like archetypal like, oh, it looks like another explode, like kind of like old wispy
Yeah.
looking guy with like a pointy hat, like real archetypal like
Interesting,
wizardy
yeah.
style. Like alchemical experiments and stuff.
Super cool. I bet that's super out of fashion for
Yeah.
the usual.
He's like a relic of a weird bygone age of magic.
Right. Or is he? Yeah, that's a good question. Super cool.
Either that or he's like super retro that it's almost in. You know what I mean?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Super cool. Okay, so we got a wicked rumor. We have this maybe a long-term renter or someone who's conducting magical experiments and very out of fashion or very retro. What do you got? What do you got else for me?
I think, well, we've got a bar. We got to have a bartender, right?
Great point.
I was picturing a Muppet.
Oh,
Like like creature that looks like a weird foam puppet and even has like really floppy
yeah.
arms that look like they're controlled by sticks. There are no sticks there, but like they look like they're controlled by sticks.
really interesting.
And I think it's that very sort of paternal person who's always like looking for their regulars, and they've got like those googly eyes that move as their head flaps
Wobbles.
open in a
Oh,
weird
wow,
way.
awesome.
And when they eat, it's very much like when Cookie Monster eats. Like they'll perform the act
Yeah.
of eating, but like no food is going in their
Yep.
mouth.
Crumbles.
Awesome. I have some thoughts about that. That's great. What else you got for me?
So Goetics summon entities to like do their bidding for them. So it might be fun that there might be an entity that's here like who's been summoned and is here on behalf of a Goetic, but no one has quite been able to figure out like what it's been sent here to do or who it's here on behalf of.
Nice.
And it's just kind of been like coming at a specific time every day and like waiting, like clearly waiting for something and then departing and then like returning the next day in that same time window.
Ooh, mysterious summoned entity.
Yeah.
I like it.
So yeah, I guess like almost a mysterious messenger type or stranger in a bar.
Yeah, absolutely. What you got for me? Let's get one more from each of you, and then let's pick.
Okay, one more. Come back to me really
Okay.
quick. Sorry,
Yeah,
unless
it's okay.
Alan, you don't have one.
Yeah.
We have a lot of good stuff to work with. I just wanted to make sure you're getting your creative thoughts out there. And not
So there's this kind of like gluttonous awakened sludge who it has just taken up residence here to the point of like, yeah, that's just the sludge who lives, it probably has a name. It's just like the sludge who lives in the basement of this place, and it like eats garbage and is like super friendly. And everyone likes it's like semi-sentient in like a way, almost like if like a dog were like hyper intelligent for a dog, where it's like
I won't
you
say
can
it.
tell it's got like feelings and like can like kind of understand you,
Yeah.
but it's still basically an animal.
lovely. All right, gluttonous sludge.
Yeah, I think because you said you're staying with family.
The family owns,
Owns
the
the
bar.
bar.
A family-owned bar. Okay. Then let's see. Well, if they actually own the bar, I sort of wanted like a menacing, like high society type, like landlord type figure.
But like we are fairly well to do. We have an
that-
estate.
That could be your family member. You know.
Then yeah.
I could have the fussy aunt, Jane.
Fussy ant. I think it's a fussy ant. Is what it is, and it's an ant. It is an ant with
Yeah.
a beehive haircut.
Like hoop earrings.
Yeah, and just like decked out in pearls. It is a fussy ant, and it's very judgy, extremely judgy.
Super cool. And just so you know, the changeries that I've talked about, you know, your form is so malleable. It doesn't mean you have to look like an ant. Doesn't mean anyone else. You know, that might be something that was done to her.
Sure.
Or, you know, there's lots of ways you can look like a
That's what's
beautiful.
in right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
We're probably ahead of the curve a little bit, you know, trying anyway. Okay, which two do we want to go with? Wicked Rumor, the magical experiments guy, the bartender Muppet, the summoned entity whose motives and summoner are unknown, the gluttonous, friendly sludge, and the fussy ant.
Bar Muppet, 100% of the time, Bar Muppet.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bar Muppet is so good.
Okay.
Thank God.
Can we just do 2 Bar Muppets?
Oh my god. Okay, my question about the bar Muppet, but you know, it's all you guys. But so there are things called shadow characters. So certain, you know, shadow is largely totally lies, but every once in a while, very, very, very low incidence, there's a semblance of awakenedness that can happen to a shadow entity.
Okay.
And it can come into the actuality. And it can't, you know, to some extent it isn't as fully full of will and soul like you guys are, but it can take the role of
So it's like a Muppet?
a Muppet could come here is what I'm saying.
Darcy,
It's a
It
Muppet.
could literally be a Muppet.
Darcy, yes!
It's a Muppet.
It's a Muppet.
Yeah, it's a Muppet.
Thank you.
Is it a known Muppet, or is this just like? I think we got.
I think it's like the
Muppets.
shadow, the shadow version of, you know, Jim Henson and whatever. Like we created Muppets.
Yeah.
Right.
But there was like a grain of like truth to the existence of
Yeah.
Muppetry
Yeah.
that
Ooh.
then like manifested as like a
Guys,
reflection.
he was definitely a Vizsla, like
Yeah.
Jim Henson.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely.
He was a
okay.
maker, right?
No,
He
we're
was-
all on board.
He was unknowingly like. All right, perfect. We're
Yeah.
good. It's a real Muppet.
So yeah,
excited.
it's like a truth we stumbled over in lies by accident, and now this thing gets to
beautiful.
exist.
Yeah, dude.
So tell me more about this Muppet who's a bartender in your family's bar.
Well, it's a
God.
monster type, right?
I'm just, yes.
And
yes.
so it's
Okay,
got
it's a
the
monster
fur,
type.
big foam nose. What's their
What's
their
its
mouth
disposition?
type like?
It's wispy, like the fuzz. This fuzziness is like a wispy fuzzy, right?
Oh,
Where
so it
like
can,
when they
like-
move, it looks
I
like it's
love that
underwater all the
type.
time.
Wispy
The
fuzz.
wisp fuzz
Yeah,
is
yeah,
such
yeah,
a good
yeah.
type. They definitely have the like smoking jacket going on.
Awesome.
Because they
Yeah.
look so dapper in those.
Yeah. I feel like to have discovered the truth of this thing, Muppets are so high turned up to the joy side of things. Even if we decide it's a joy-based person in your life, I think it needs some kind of kernel of despair. It needs some kind of
Yes.
darkness or depth. And what could that be? Like what, you know, Jim Henson's, our Muppets are not exactly what this thing would be. You know, this to
No, of
have
course.
become a fully fledged being, what kind of darkness or or secret or
Well, I think that our Muppets are even
bonds do
there.
it have?
You know,
yeah,
like
I think you could say
right,
that.
like
Mhm.
Kermit's there.
This one's a veteran, right? The war?
Do you think?
It came from Shadow, so
Oh, it
yeah.
came from Shadow. So,
Well, the
Well,
Cookie
but-
Monster thing really resonated with me
could have come
'cause
through the war.
the
or
idea
broke
of like
something.
it wanting to like
Oh,
mimic
it
action
wants
but
to
not
drink,
being
and it
able
can't
to
drink?
yeah
Oh,
like it tries to
gosh.
eat food but it doesn't have a digestive tract. It tries to drink but it has no throat. You know
I'm,
what I mean? Like,
yeah, I'm really trying to, groove on this despair thing, but I'm also now just thinking of visually what it's like when this
Yeah.
thing shakes a cocktail shaker, and I cannot be delighted by that.
Oh my god.
and its
head wobbling
eyeballs
away.
are like rolling around. That's
my
so funny.
Oh my god.
Or like, man, can you imagine like you move your head, like you're trying to like we look around, we focus on stuff, but this thing like turns to look and its vision just like is
Oh, yeah.
everywhere.
It takes a while to settle.
Yeah.
So is this thing pretty beloved, or is it weirded out? Like, I can't overstate how infrequently this happens, that a shadow thing comes. And,
Yes,
and
I think people are very weirded out by it.
yeah, but for some reason, it has a job in a good
Yes,
like,
in
popular
a
bar.
popular
So, like,
bar. It's phenomenal at okay.
Yeah.
It's good at knowing what people want to
Cool.
drink and making them that exact cocktail.
Yeah.
And like it also has to like it's made of Muppet magic, right? So it like knows your hopes and dreams and stuff.
Ooh, wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And can summon like letters and numbers.
Yes.
Definitely do that.
Like Sesame
I
Street
mean, it
style.
probably makes cocktails out of letters and numbers.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
so
you-
good.
There are
Today's drink is brought to you by the letter W.
Yes.
absolutely.
Oh, that's so good.
That's very charming. Oh gosh. Do we have a name for it? Someone suggested the name Moxie, which is
Oh, I like
Moxie
Moxie.
is a very good name for a Muppet creature.
Yeah. Do we think that that's too bright for it though?
I like the dichotomy of it like presenting like Kermit the Frog is like a beloved like character who's like clearly sad all the
Clearly
time.
sad all the time.
Yeah, so I kind of like that like dichotomy between
That
like,
it has
it's
a
bright
happy
and colorful
thing,
and wispy and
but
its
it's
name
sad
is
all the
Moxie.
time.
Yeah.
Moxie is a good name then. Yeah.
cool. I like that. Awesome. All right. That's wild. Okay.
Damn.
Another neighbor.
Just
So-
another Muppet. I'm telling you.
Well, dude,
we're
like,
on a
just
roll.
here's
a
the thing.
Muppet.
Not too far off of that was your sentient sludge.
That's true.
You two got to pick. So we got Wicked Rumor, we got
Okay.
Sentient Sludge, we have the Summoned Entity, whose motives in Summoner are mysterious. We have the Retro Magician.
Retro Magician is like also like very in line with Muppetry.
Yeah. I kind of like. Was that what happened to that ant?
I'm sorry. Oh, wait. Fussy Ant.
Fussy
Kind of
hand.
like Fussy Ant.
Oh, I'm really
But is
intrigued
that
by
is
Fussy
that
Ant.
too much of the same kind of cartoony?
One
Depends how we
thing
flesh her out.
I like about Kat's character is like steeped in darkness.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that that person has to live in Muppet
In
Town
like Cartoon Town?
is like very charming to me.
Is your character steeped in darkness?
I don't know.
Well, you've cut your life into pieces and like.
But it's all how you contextualize it, man.
I mean, I
Those are-
suppose that's true. She's just in
life
debt
is
by
all-
trading away parts of herself.
Yeah, but
she's part of a.
do you know what her primary
shard.
motivation is? It's love, buddy.
Ooh.
Wow. Then we got to go Sludge.
Wow.
Gotta go sludge.
Sludge.
What? So wait, read our options one more
Yep.
time.
Wicked Rumor.
Yeah.
We have Retro Wizard, Summoned Entity, Sludge, and Fussy Ant. I know, this is hard.
Sludge feels like it fulfills the same role as Moxie. So
That's
I
probably a
just
good
slide that
point.
one off
Okay.
the table.
All right.
It's good. There will be gluttonous sludges around. Don't worry. But let's get one that sits a little further from that niche.
I'm kind of leaning towards just because it feels like it enables story hooks or potential reveal is the summon entity.
Okay.
Especially as
Yeah.
because you're a goetic as well.
Yeah.
Oh, good point.
So
Okay, first, is Moxie a positive, negative, or neutral influence?
100% positive.
yeah, gotta be positive.
Thanks, guys.
A negative person
I
who is a
have to
positive
ask,
influence.
It's my job. I have one job. To
So
keep the
good.
show running. Awesome. All right, so summoned entity. Yeah, and you can dive in here too.
Oh,
so
cool.
Is there something that immediately struck you when you heard that?
Summoned entity. The thing about it is it's mysterious, right?
I like that it maybe comes back. It's not just sitting around. It's like it keeps returning.
It's like
That's
being
kind of
clearly
interesting to
given
me.
a specific task
That's
that is
so
not
cool.
happening, so
Oh,
it just like
interesting.
keeps coming back and
It
back.
has a
and back.
contract that it can't fulfill.
Can it be an angel?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
And like a biblical angel.
Yeah,
so
no,
that-
like covered in eyes and wings.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Just like imagining this thing like sitting down in the same booth every day with hands folded on the table, not ordering anything, and just
God.
We keep trying to get it to gamble, and it's not
And it-
interested.
Every day at
Beautiful.
open it walks in, and at close it
It
walks
leaves.
out.
and it's because it's like stuck in this summon contract that it is just doing this over and over.
Wow,
to
that
do
is
its
really
job.
tough. So yeah, angels in this world are thought to be part of the legacy, which is the idea that there seems to be motive behind the way life and structures are put together, right? There's so much pattern here, and there's lots of other things reinforcing this, that the idea is something about the created world that we live in was created, and there's the idea even that it's an ongoing spell that we're all a part of, because everything, we know there's a dual nature in everything right now, right? Form and magic. We know the world has form, perhaps it's a single ongoing spell. So angels are things of this legacy. They tend to be, but like angels we think about, they are really rigorously moral in whatever kind of, they tend to be upstanding. They're about, sort of positive elements and not so much destruction. So the gambling would be really hard. And I think I think what would be known about this maybe, and you can dive in if you think otherwise, but like even to convince, for a goetic to receive the ear of an angel is already a pretty, and I'm thinking about this as kind of a powerful angel. Like it's a pretty big deal. To force them to walk into a den of like immoral
Hey now.
chaos
Okay.
over and over again. Or
Yeah.
or I don't know. Is this a dark place? Is this an upstanding like?
It's run by Moxie.
It's entertaining.
Seedy. It's seedy.
Is it seedy or not?
Like
Is it pretty? Like a gleam of shining over a seedy bar, or
it is halfway between Mos Eisley and
I need to know where you're going with this.
and Cheers.
And Cheers. Okay,
Oh.
that's correct.
So
wow.
So it's basically
entertaining.
What's the
Nice. Yeah.
the place in Hogsmeade that they go to? The witches.
The-
something.
what
is
Three
that?
broomsticks?
Three broomsticks.
Three broomsticks.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that.
It's a fun place.
Cool, awesome. I like that. Rourke said this world has a lot of small, bittersweet stories in it. I think that's very Invisible Sun. I think that's what my impression of it. Super cool. Okay, so
Moss Cheersley.
I like that we have
Seriously.
a better. Oh, it's very cute. I like that we have a better idea of this bar too. That's helping me. Okay, so what else? Do we need to know anything more about this summoned entity?
once a week,
Okay.
it tips very well. And it's never predictable. And the waiters and waitresses, like if it happens early in the week, they're like, well, what's even the point? Otherwise, like they're trying to get that
wow.
shift. You're trying to get the good tip shift.
That's amazing. Where everybody knows your true name. Okay.
Oh my god!
Oh, damn. That's good.
Very good.
Oh my god!
Oh my goodness.
What a terrifying prospect for this world.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
I think it's like pleasant too, in like a almost off-putting way.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
it
Moxie's
seems,
there.
yeah, it seems like fine.
Pleasant off-putting is like the brand.
Yeah. Like it's just fine with it. Like
Yeah.
it's clearly whatever it's been set to do is clearly it's not getting done. But
Super
it seems
cool.
like
Positive,
blasé.
negative, or neutral?
I think for me,
Uh-huh.
I don't think it's like, I think probably neutral.
Okay, I think so too. All right, so we have the angel. The tipping angel. Super cool. All right, so we have two neighbors. Very good. Why don't we come up with like 1 to 3 points of interest? So let's see here. These were things like our yeah, these were things like our playground.
Darcy,
our-
I've been holding on to this one
right,
since,
lay it on me.
since
Oh,
the
got it,
beginning,
got it.
and it is this neighborhood, this like
Yeah.
patch of neighborhood, is where the stars come to roost during the day, and for tourists, it's really impressive because there are all these
Oh.
beautiful, bright stars. But for people who live in the neighborhood, it's like horrible. The stars are like noisy in their sleep and they poop everywhere and it's just, they're obnoxious. And like every year, like tourists come to take pictures of the stars and whatnot, and everybody in the neighborhood is like, it's unsanitary. I wish they would do something about them.
So this is a place. So this is not necessarily the bar, right?
Right.
This is
somebody
like
in the
out, this is-
neighborhood.
I think on the
this
roof of the
whole-
bar, this whole little
whole
neighborhood
neighborhood.
is where just the stars come down from the sky and always roost here.
Oh my goodness. Okay, that's one idea.
And there's like little like signs in the neighborhood like don't feed the stars.
Please don't feed the
Don't
stars.
feed the
Oh
stars.
God,
Like
Please don't wish on the stars.
yeah, yeah. Oh.
it's really good. Okay,
Jiminy
we got to
Cricket.
come up with more ideas. Okay, you've been sitting on that a
Okay,
while.
okay,
I like
okay.
it. Please don't risk on the stars. All right, what's another point of interest?
Yeah. So
And if you feel particularly moved by an old idea too, feel free to pitch it again for this neighborhood. You know?
Sure.
there's a spot in this neighborhood that like a patch of weather just got stuck. So it's just constantly. It's just like a small rain cloud that is just constantly like pouring rain.
I feel like it can follow people.
Yeah, it has an affinity for people. So if you like screw up and walk too close to it, it like attaches or like imprints on you and like follows you around for a little
Oh,
while
boy.
until you like duck into a building and then it sits there until the next
Waiting for-
person like comes out.
Oh, nice.
God,
Awesome.
beautiful.
Another point of interest. I know it's like it's so hard to leave the ideas behind.
God almighty.
Like they'll still be here in our hearts, and we can bring them back into the story. But pitch a bunch of ideas.
There is a stop sign, and it is a problem.
Ooh.
Like if you get
What it
caught in the
stops.
sign, like when you are confronted with the sign, you stop.
Ooh.
It's like a command.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And
I
you're
love that.
there until like somebody can move that sign, but it's like a weed.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's cool.
Another point of interest.
Yeah. There's a like a chasm that is it just like is a crumbly, normal looking, almost like the road fell apart or something there, and there's just like a chasm that goes like to nothing. But you can just walk across
Cool.
it. So
The appearance
like,
of a chasm.
yeah, it looks it definitely is a chasm.
yeah.
But people just like walk over. If you drop something, like if I like whoops, I dropped my wallet, the wallet
It
just
goes down.
tumbles away.
Oh no.
But physically, like sentient beings cannot like pass through this.
Interesting. So it blocks mines. Awesome. All right. More stuff, or do we want to choose from the stars come to roost here, the patch of weather that gets stuck, the stop sign, or the chasm that blocks sentient beings from
God,
falling
I
down?
feel like we've already got a bunch of really good things.
I know. Is there anyone drawing your heart right now that you like can't wait to flesh out?
I really like the stop sign, or just that like the idea of like something that like if people aren't careful about will literally like arrest them in some way. Like
Well, it could be even different road signs, like yield. Like yield will show up and you have to give something up.
yeah.
Ooh, okay. If we're picking that one,
Like
yeah, I want to get in on this.
roadside weed
One bit
infestation.
of veneer I would like to give it is like kind of, today's stop sign is a little too modern for the aesthetic. It doesn't mean we can't go there. It's just like that will be a little different. Is there any way we can turn that into something that's either a little more like maybe it's unique to the kinds of transportation here, or maybe it's there's some way we can wrap that in like this kind of hoity-toity 20s like bohemia
Yeah, so
feel.
those like that
okay if
old
we can't,
school
but of
like
course.
stoplight where it's like a sign that pokes out, and then when so it's like
It's
a
kind of a
red
mechanical
sign.
looking
Yeah,
thing.
so instead of like a traffic light with lights on it, it's mechanical.
Yeah.
So there's a red like thing sticking out of it, and then when it's time to go, it drops and like green one comes
I'm
up.
imagining it looking like those the title cards for like silent movies, right? That kind of flowery font with the
Yeah.
borders.
Yeah,
And
and maybe
I
it
think
says
can
something
look-
different every time too.
Yeah.
So like you get your stop sign, your yield, your go, whatever.
Cool.
Yeah,
thinking?
I think that I think it's like 3 streets that should have specific names,
Cool.
and these 3 streets are highly suggestible.
Oh, interesting.
And any bills that are posted on them act as commands.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's a problem.
Yeah, that's a big problem. Ooh, goodness.
Like people are aware of it, so they, people tend to be pretty
the
good,
know.
pretty good about it. But generally, sometimes people mess up,
Yeah.
and sometimes
Local
people,
bands put their friggin' signs on
Yeah,
it, and
come
everyone
to
has to
our
go to
show.
a stupid show.
Yeah.
and sometimes people are malicious about it.
Or like
Absolutely.
yeah.
rat vandals come and they like play pranks on the
Yeah.
neighborhood. Yeah.
Totally. I would almost like to put it, it's a good shortcut, or one of these streets has like a very motivating force that sometimes you're willing to risk it almost. Like, if you think that people have been good enough about keeping the.
It's a really good shortcut. Yeah,
It's a really good shortcut. Okay, cool. So one of them at least.
And like one of the, it's definitely like a little cross section, and it's a really good shortcut. And the other one has like all the candy shops or something, like
Yeah.
the good bread shops.
I'd
and
risk it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd risk it.
I'd go there.
Awesome. I like that. And third, we'll figure out. Yeah, the really good shortcut. Is there something invisible? Is there something surreal we can say about that? Other than like, what about that? Is it a physical shortcut, or is walking along that street take you down? If you're following out a logical problem, it is a literal shortcut to the problem you're trying to solve.
Oh,
that's
that's
fun.
fantastic. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That would really motivate Bisley. Bisley.
Yeah.
Cool. Do
Yeah.
you like that, or do you want it to be
No,
physical?
I love that. You
Okay.
know, it can be 2 things.
I would love it to be both. I think both is the answer. Idea and physical. Awesome. Super cool. Highly suggestible couple of streets. That's really good. And it's like the posts, right? So whatever you put there, beautiful. Okay, so that's one of the points of interest. Do we want to flesh out more about the fact that like the stars come to roost during this part of the neighborhood? And it's a big problem. The patch of weather that keeps following people and getting stuck on them. I know it is. Or the chasm that that you walk across, but sapient beings are kept from falling through, but objects are not.
You seem to really be sitting on that stars idea.
I like it, but like also the cloud that like can get attached to people is like really
We
charming.
can have 3. It said 1 to 3. So if we really like both of those,
Yeah,
should we put that up to Kat? Do you feel like both of those
Those are both great.
Those
feel
appropriate
good in
for
the
your
same
neighborhood?
neighborhood?
Yeah, we can do those in the same neighborhood. The
And,
other thing,
neighborhood can be pretty big too.
like
Yeah.
we could do one of them in Alan's neighborhood later if you think one
That's
would be more
true.
appropriate. But I think that they're both pretty appropriate.
So
for
yeah,
the
we'll
neighborhood.
decide if we want to move it after.
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
But like
figure it
the
out.
stars thing, if it's touristy, it's a good place for a bar that's trying
Great
to,
point.
to like.
And there are all all these trendy shops
Yeah.
just down the
So
way.
that
And there are
feels right.
tourists who keep, there's lots of like people who aren't in the know coming here.
and losing their shit in this
And there
chasm.
being a
Oh my
mope
God.
cloud is also very charming.
Gosh, it's so charming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like them.
The
I like
cloud
them
like
both.
also plays like very soft, sad music. As it, like,
So charming. I like this place. This neighborhood's adorable.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's very cute. Okay, Cloud. Is there anything more we need to? Okay, wait.
The cloud needs a name.
It definitely needs a name.
And I love that your character's thing is romance, because all all of this is like romance
Oh
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
You're,
Oh
you
my
live in a
God.
romantic
Yeah.
comedy
Oh
surrealism.
my gosh. Okay. I can handle it. I'm together. I'm with it. We can move on.
We're gonna have a great time.
This is so cute. Okay. All right. First, I'm like losing it.
Carlos Cumulus.
Oh yeah. There we go.
Okay, so what about the streets? Is this a positive, negative, or neutral? It kind of sounds negative. There's a lot more.
Yeah, this is
I
negative.
think
This
there's
is
a lot
okay.
of danger. It's that sort of thing. It's like it's dangling that the good shops are here. I can solve all your problems.
No, it's negative.
Okay, cool. I love it. So currently, just so you know, we have a despair. We have the street signs. We have a joy, moxie. So excited for moxie.
Man.
And we have a neutral, that angel who's been summoned. So
So I'm net neutral right
net
now.
neutral right now, and we will probably eventually want to lean. But so we can toy with these. We'll want to give you a despair or a joy, one of the two. But it's cool that you're complicated right now. All right, so yeah, the three streets are definitely despair. Okay, talk about the cloud. Tell me about this cloud.
Yeah, it's definitely it's definitely not sapient, but I liked it. I like it getting hooked on people, like being that personal rain cloud thing.
So one thing you should know about Fartown, in the lore at least, is that it's always stuck on autumn. In here, that doesn't mean locally we can't, change that.
Yeah.
This is Invisible Sun, but that's a feature of Fartown that no one quite understands. So, but I feel like autumn is such a good time
That's
for
the
like
best.
rom-coms, right?
Yeah, no, it's real
Autumn's
good.
the best season anyway.
There's also something really fun to me to the idea of like, someone walks into a coffee shop and they're all wet, and you're like, fuck. Now I know this thing is like right outside the door, and I don't want to be the next one to leave because
Yeah.
it'll stick on me. So everyone's just like waiting to.
Is this good for shops though? Do they kind of like it?
Yeah, it
because
keeps
Because it
people
push people
inside.
inside. Yeah.
Okay, I want to zoom
People
back
feed
in.
it. Shopkeepers feed it.
Yeah, they they go on the roof and they like pour more water into
It's
it.
great for us.
Yeah.
That's great.
What's your relationship with it? Like, does your family think, like, is this a big, especially a bar? Like,
Yeah, we
people can
love
keep
it.
Gambling all night. Is this something that you've had to interact with before? Like, what's your opinion on it? Like, are you cool that your family does this, or do you find that like kind of
Oh.
deceiving in a way that you don't like? How do you feel about that?
I don't have a problem with deception.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I think that my personal relationship with it is like, does it hook onto people who are sad, or does it,
Yeah. Tell me.
that's the question. What do we
You
think?
I think
answer
it is
it.
attracted to sadness.
Yeah.
I feel like.
So on
Gravitates
that
towards it.
level, I don't like it because I get personally saddled with it frequently.
Oh, and
does your-
so does Moxie.
Yeah.
But my family really likes that.
Does your family send you to retrieve it when
Yes,
it gets stuck
I
outside
get
of other
sent
shops?
on cloud duty all the time.
Oh my gosh, beautiful. Okay, did we say it tends to follow sadness? Is it a specific kind of sadness, or is it just like it kind of?
Oh, good call.
I don't know. It's okay if it's just general.
Lonely?
It definitely. Oh, loneliness is a good
Kind of
one.
interpersonal sadness of some sort, not
Yeah.
just like.
Well, it definitely has a hierarchy of sadness.
oh, it can flock. from-
Yeah, that it has like, but I don't know that we know what types of sadness
Awesome.
are its like preferred types.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Positive, negative, or neutral? Kind of positive for your family.
Positive for my family. I don't think I like it that much.
Yeah. Do you think it's a negative thing? For
I think
you?
it's a
Negative
negative
for
thing
you.
for
Yeah.
me.
I think there's a number of people for whom it's negative. I think that's very
Yeah.
fair. Cool.
Moxie.
It does need a
being
cloud.
one of them.
It does need a cloud at some
Has to
point.
put
or a
himself in the
name.
dryer.
God.
Yes.
No. Yeah.
Very, very.
Oh, that's
Moxie.
the saddest.
Oh, I love it.
He comes out all fluffy and staticky.
Oh my gosh, he's so staticky.
Oh, it's so funny.
All right, and then let's talk about the starlets.
Yeah.
Starlings.
They're starlings. I can't.
Monster.
We can't. Well, we can't not now.
No.
Good job. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, the complicated starlings. What else do we know about them? Slash, like what?
Dawn and dusk, they make a lot of noise because they're settling in and waking
Yes.
up.
You said that their poop was a problem. I want to know why.
Well, it's extremely noticeable. It's light.
So it is like
It's like
phosphorescent?
liquid light. Yeah.
Ugh,
Okay.
gross.
Does it go away on its own, or do we have to like
gotta hose it
clean
off.
You have to hose it off.
Oh no.
It's where the stars come to roost. It's so romantic. Fuck you.
Guy in overalls, like coveralls.
So I imagine there are some like local. This is a great opportunity for like local Vizsla to like figure out charms to sort of keep things free of light. I'm sure they degrade over time. These are stars. They're very kind of very powerful. Is it that the light is hard to clean off, or is it that there is so much of it?
There's,
Sheer
it's not
volume?
particularly hard to clean off, but there's a lot. There's a lot, and
Okay.
you have to hit it with a hose. That's all you have to do, but you gotta do it, and it's every day.
So
Yeah.
they're negative for me, and that's my duty too.
Oh no!
These are the things that I do to keep rent on my
Yeah,
room.
Absolutely.
Ooh, to bring back the local government
Yeah.
stuff, the stars are protected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%
They're
they
like
are.
an endangered species
They're
or
in-
something.
Oh God, and they swoop. They're swoopers. They swoop at you.
Yes, dawn and dusk, they swoop at you.
And they're just blindingly bright. So you're like, just like trying to walk down the street at night and you can't.
But there's like a lot of romance
really,
about it.
really love
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
people from the other parts of Saturnine, but like
They can see the stars falling. As the sun's coming up,
Yeah,
the
it's
stars all
glorious.
fall and
Oh,
stream
wow.
down.
And there are all of these good stories about being like star kissed and what it means, but in practice,
that's
you're
Yeah.
just getting
good.
swooped.
I got starstruck, and guess what? It sucked. I was covered in poopy light.
Oh God, I wonder. I feel like this light, I feel like we're painting it as this like visceral, gross reaction. Maybe it like feels weird because it looks pretty initially.
Yes,
right?
it does.
But maybe
Yeah.
it like messes with your magic, or it makes you feel nauseous. There's something bad about
it
it. What
smells.
bad?
Yeah,
it
it
smells.
smells.
Just literal smell.
It smells like bright light feels in your eyes.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
It's not even that so much that it smells bad. It's just like overpowering.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, do some people who like frequently have to work here like have like masks or sort of smelling salts to sort of get by when they're
yes, I think they have to. Well,
There-
that's
there could be a whole culture
as
around
someone
it.
with I have sensory issues.
yeah.
Like as a person in real life with sensory issues, this would be incredibly overwhelming.
Wow, yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
That's like I can see that if you get hit with this stuff, it's just like smell and light would be really overwhelming.
Yeah, absolutely. So there are definitely ways that people probably deal with this that we can explore. Awesome. So this is another negative for you for sure. Okay, so those are some points of interest. Now we need one or two local problems, issues, or rumors. Some of these have natural problems and issues associated with them, but let's let's pick something else. So these are things that like listed in the book were like, a bunch of vandals are here, or like I don't know. Yeah. What else could there be? The government is really helpful, or like there's like a really pure, group of people helping the homeless in the area or something. What are some local problems, issues, or rumors?
Maybe just piggybacking on the stars thing.
Let's come with like 4. So
Maybe there's rumors that someone is like intentionally making this an area attractive to star roosting to try to like get
Ooh.
people to move away.
I like that.
Ooh.
Yeah. Trying to drive down the value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Awesome. I like that. We can dive into it deeper if we choose it. I love it. What's another thing?
Oh yeah. You know what? Like, we'll
I know. It's
build
such
on
a
that
thing.
later. I think Freaky Friday is a problem. I think if you're not careful in certain areas here, you can body swap with people.
Ooh.
So if you are like having a disagreement with somebody in the wrong place, the wrong time, you're gonna Freaky Friday.
It's disagreement based, though.
Yeah.
Specifically.
So,
Gosh,
like,
yes.
people like grit their teeth and stay polite.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. That's really good. Okay.
You want to
2
talk
more.
about this in another
I
neighborhood?
know. You want to take these off? Okay.
Or like maybe pickpockets like start fights on purpose so they can swap bodies and
Oh,
like
gosh.
take your stuff.
Oh, wow, what a great
That's
grift.
clever. Okay,
Yeah.
2 more ideas.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we went too deep on that
I know. It's so good, though.
one. I think
Local
like
problems, issues, or rumors. Good or bad?
maybe there's a problem where like buildings are borrowing or like borrowing from each other. So like, you have your house next to the like local like thrift shop or
Yeah.
whatever, or like Salvation Army style
Yeah.
store, and the 2 buildings are like constantly swapping. So like, shit, my door is now the double glass door,
Yeah.
and they've like swapped. So kind of like
Ooh.
piggybacking off the body swap
That's
thing.
really interesting. I like that.
That's neat. That's really neat.
Issues, problems, or rumors. And to be fair, there's a lot of negative going on in Kitty's life, which is fine. We could, despair brings you a lot. There's lots to be gained through that. But
I think rumors is like, this is the place to fall in love, right?
oh,
That's how this area builds itself. It's like the most romantic area in the world.
wow. Ooh. That's super cool. I really like that. Okay, so we have the rumor that there's people intentionally driving the stars to come roost here so that they can drop, so that they can, for some gain of theirs, right? Well, we can dive into it if we love it. I think there's lots to be explored there. There is the Freaky Friday disagreement. If you're
That's
not
so
careful, you'll swap bodies, which could be utilized by certain people. There's buildings borrowing from each other. So this, swapping, I think those maybe could go together in some way. It'd be interesting. And the rumor that this is the place to fall in love, and what that might mean, that could be really powerful, right? Like this, pursuing love is a whole character arc. Like, this is 1920s Paris and artists. That would be a big deal to them.
Yeah.
It'd be a big deal to these people. Okay, what one is calling out to you right now? What's your? I know it's hard.
Literally all of them.
I know.
Romance spot.
Darcy.
Romance spot speaks to me the most. It's such a smart
It ties
idea.
the neighborhood together in a really cool way.
And it's also really interesting to me that your character Kitty is whose goal is
Yeah,
to like fall in
interesting.
love, can't do it in the place that's where people literally go to do that.
Oof.
Yeah.
Is like
Yeah,
interesting and despairing
That's
to
a
me.
cool dichotomy. Yeah, awesome.
That's just
How do you
such
feel
a cool
about that?
idea.
I'm super on board.
Okay, cool. So, let's flesh this out. Like, rumor that this is a good place to fall in love. Why is it? Why would Bisley care, right? Because this is really attracting people. So there must be, needs to be how.
It
how
has
does
to
that
have stuff
manifest?
like where we went to school, there was a stupid bridge that had like a 13th plank where if you kiss on it,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
your whole thing will be blessed.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
has a lot of that sort of thing.
Cool. It's a minor like ritual.
Yep.
If is the thought. There's this like ongoing. All of these, the stars falling. Maybe this is what people tell themselves are all contributing to be part of. Once you enter there, you're taking part in that ritual.
Yep.
If you're there with a partner, and if you do a certain number of things, you have a higher probability of getting.
Oh,
that
totally.
written
They
into
have
your-
there's like a there's
a pamphlet.
There's a lot. There's a hand out pamphlets. When you enter the area, the map has pamphlets that have. There's definitely a love number, and it's like if you do the love number of love rituals.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely. Absolutely. Love number of love rituals.
That's so
Absolutely.
This cheesy ass town.
Love it. Gosh, it's so
God,
good.
I gotta piggyback
Yeah.
right off of Alan's idea of people like driving those the starlings here.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like there is an active sort of gentrification that is trying to happen. Like people have realized, like they're investors that have realized, like, oh, this neighborhood has like this love reputation. We can sell that.
Right.
We can corporate up that area.
Yeah.
And so they're like trying to do these things. Like it used to be some stars would naturally roost here.
Yeah.
Now all of the stars roost here.
Oh, that's very frustrating because all of this stuff happened organically.
Yeah. Wow.
Oof.
And
Uh-oh.
is that something that changed in the time you were away?
Yes, definitely.
Cool. So you remember how it was before, where it was.
It was nice.
And maybe do you think it more likely that like do you think it was really working in the past? Do you
Oh,
think there's
definitely.
some truth to it, and is there truth now, do you think?
Interesting. I think there still is some.
Cool.
But definitely not at this level.
Yeah, and maybe that worries you, since you're really
It's a source of anxiety.
cool. Awesome. So are those two different things, I think, probably? I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
debating whether to...
I just miss Freaky Friday.
How
I
do you feel
really
about
like the
Freaky
Freaky
Friday?
Friday idea.
Well, I love the Freaky Friday idea.
so
I
good.
And it
love
kind of fits in with the love thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, this is about only love and positive emotions. It's kind of a messed up situation, you know. And I guess it's, you know, it's about partnership, right?
Yeah, like Freaky Friday and arguing tells a certain type of story. But then people using it for pickpocketing is
It's extremely great.
Or like people who know the neighborhood, like when they get into fights, they switch bodies and they just start beating themselves up for when they switch back or whatever.
No.
Like that's the strategy.
But like, my grandma knew the guy who put the Freaky Friday curse on it, and like, that guy just really liked it when people argued and then fell in love. You know?
Yeah.
As your doctor, the best advice I can give you is learn a lesson about the person that you switch bodies with.
Okay, so tell me about...
So the only way to turn back is to kiss the other person.
Yeah.
Well, no, you got to learn a lesson.
You have to
can't-
learn a lesson.
You have to like appreciate the
You have
experience.
to learn
Yeah.
a lesson.
A lot of people end up kissing.
Yeah. Like, geez, I guess I
you
didn't realize
do.
how hard it was to be you. Back.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Whew. We can do this.
Wow.
Tell me, is this a thing that can happen anywhere at any time? Is it more likely to happen at a certain time? Is this like happening? What's the frequency of this? Does it tend to happen in a certain place where like tourists who don't know better go into that place, or is it a time? Is it a
Oh, yeah.
day of the year? Is it?
How
What if it's
strong was that
Friday.
guy?
What if it's just Freaky Friday?
You're right. It's on Freaky Friday. It's on Friday, and it has to do with how strong the argument is. That's it.
How strong the argument is?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, awesome.
And like if it's a multi-person argument, it's just a fucking
Oh,
it's a
that's a
nightmare.
disaster.
There's-
Everybody has to learn a lesson
Yeah.
before.
There is an old married couple that lives here, and you never know who is in whose body.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good.
We have to get away from this place because
Why would we ever leave this neighborhood? What? This is the best. This is the pinnacle of.
you guys.
What narrative could we possibly go on from here?
Abandon your characters. We're married couple.
We're just playing
I'm
them.
just gonna be Moxie now.
All right. Oh gosh. Okay. I love it. It's Friday. It's depending on the strength of the argument. There is a married couple, and you never know.
You never know.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Let's summarize here. Freaky Friday. Do we feel that's positive, negative, or neutral?
I think for me, that's neutral,
Okay,
right?
I think
I
so.
think that feels neutral to me.
Yeah.
Freaky Friday. Love it. What about the gentrification and how people are bringing way more of these stars in?
I don't
Pretty-
like
Deeply
that.
negative.
Very
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Despair.
negative. Bringing in more stars alone.
Oh gosh.
That's a lot of hose work.
Jennifer.
Not all this work.
Sorry, Kitty. And then what about the rumor that this, you know, or not rumor, but like feature, right? That this is a place that is like a great place to fall in love. Do we think that's a joy for you? or-
Interesting. Huh.
That is your mission, but
Well, so,
you
yeah.
also live there.
Yeah, I'm trying. My heart belongs to heaven. There's one person.
Mm.
You know, and I doubt it's gonna happen. If it happens at all, it's not here. I don't know.
Oof.
Oh man.
I think living in the place where you're supposed to fall in love and every day waking up not having that happen
Yeah,
is can be
taxing.
negative and taxing.
All right, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 despair,
Yeah.
1 joy, and 2 neutral. So you have the despairs of this neighborhood are the street signs that are very. I'm sorry, what do we call it? Impressionable? Or
Yeah.
Yeah, suggestible.
suggestible. The cloud that follows you around all the time. The stars that you know inhabit here and swoop are sort of a local menace. But the fact that people are even more so trying to gentrify this area and like take over it because of its rumors is another despair. The fact that should be the place you're falling in love, but you haven't yet is kind of a despair for you right now. Moxie's a joy. Moxie's
Moxie's
just
real-
a joy to be
I
around.
got a lot going on with Moxie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need Moxie.
Yeah, I'm doing great.
And neutral, probably, there's the angel that is, there for...
Really interesting,
that
that angel.
occasionally tips very well.
Yeah.
Or every once a week.
Once a week.
randomly tips very well. And then Freaky Friday happens.
Yeah.
That's a
Freaky
thing.
Friday.
Okay, let's see. So you get a despair.
Okay,
So one despair, you can mark down, there should be a circle somewhere.
I'll find it. Oh, got it. So.
And then you get to award a wicked key to one of these two gentlemen for one of their ideas.
Who gave me Moxie?
That was me.
James.
You got a key, buddy.
I got a wicked key.
A lot of great things happen,
Dude,
but like
The key, though.
Yeah.
Moxie
Moxie.
is the best.
Moxie's
Oh.
great.
Just picture him in the dryers make me sad.
Every time he gets hit by that cloud.
Oh, the best.
And he's a very sad man, so it
I would
happens
assume he
often.
tries not to leave the bar very often, or he kind of like skirts through quickly.
Like talking to himself in the dryer is just
Oh
does-
my gosh.
right.
Yeah. He does like a lot of sad takes to camera.
I can't.
You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes.
Like Muppets do.
Oh God.
All right. So we're going to dive into our lovely Wayne here.
Okay.
Wayne, and what's his last name?
In the shadow, it was
right.
D'Tulo, but
But
I
you've left
just
that
go
name
by
behind.
Wayne now.
Right. So that was shadow thinking.
And I will sit quietly here.
Yep. Sorry. All right. So, well, first you get to tell me.
Yeah. Where do you live?
Oh,
you
yeah,
have a
that's right.
house.
I do.
Cool. Is it
uh,
a big house? Is it a small house?
My foundation is Eremitic.
Nice.
So I live like coming back and having everyone act normal when I know something's not right has led me to a weird, almost paranoid place of like either they were all tampered with or some of them are in on it. So I'm having to play my part as like, this is normal and everything's fine, but it's kind of driving me nuts a little.
Wow.
So I've kind of become almost a hermit. Like I hang out in my house and try to like unravel this mystery with all my free time.
Super cool.
And Eremitic, I think said entitled me to a unique house.
yeah.
Very
So
cool.
I'm gonna have a house.
Yes.
In my
Wait.
head,
Yeah.
it is a sphere. And gravity works differently in it. So you walk along the
Yes.
like the
edges.
walls of the sphere, and it's laid out. It's just it like shifts from room to room, like as you walk around the sphere.
God,
So
that's
like
so cool.
the bed, like from
Yeah.
my perspective, when I'm at my study, the bed is on the wall to my right. But as I walk up the curvature of the sphere, I can like lie in the bed and like go to sleep.
Yeah.
Is it when someone looks at this from the outside, do they see the sphere rotating, or is it
No.
that it stays place and
It stays
you
in place.
walk around?
Yeah, it's almost like it has almost like the effect of like a gravity ring on the space station, where
Yeah.
you're constantly on the outside of the tire, so to
Perfect.
speak.
Yep.
But it doesn't physically rotate. It just like warps gravity.
Now, is this like a house that you had before the war, or is this a new house that you've spurned your family and so you've went to find this weird newer house because you didn't want to stay with? Were you worried?
This
or
is
is this an old hideout? Like what's its deal?
I think I live in like a kind of hoity-toity neighborhood, and this is like a family home that's been kind of like passed down, and it really feels like there should be someone else here with me, but there isn't, and
Oh, wow.
everyone else is kind of like, no, it's just always been you in there. So that's where I'm at right now.
Cool. So even your house reminds you of this absence in a
Yeah.
big way. So you just keep looking around, expecting there to be someone.
Right.
Beautiful. I love it.
Is your house like too big for one person?
Not even that. It's just like I look around it sometimes and I'm like, if it was just me, it wouldn't be laid out like this. Like, you know what I
Interesting.
mean? Like,
That's
this is
great.
clearly a compromised.
Do you
like,
find yourself
decor.
like
Yep.
yeah? Do you find yourself like moving a chair and feeling like that's more right, but it would be two people, you know?
Yeah, one day I was like, what the fuck is going on? So I like rearranged all the furniture and I was like, this is how I want it. And then like 2 hours later, I was like, but this
It's not
isn't
right.
So I like
Cool.
shifted it back.
Are you learning more about this person, do you think, through what you're inferring from how it's different?
Yeah,
Do you think this is a clue, maybe?
I'm treating
Houses
treating
have
all of
secrets.
these like I'm treating all of these things as like potential leads, basically.
Super
Like
cool.
I'm trying to almost in the way that makers do.
Yeah.
I'm basically trying to reverse engineer this person from like the
God.
snippets of.
Do you have like a? Do you have? What do you? Where do
A
you
red
keeping?
string board.
Yeah. How do you keep your notes?
Well, I'm
Try
terrified.
not to lead.
I'm terrified that someone
Will-
that I don't know like I
Yeah,
don't know
who's
how
in on
deep
it?
this goes or what the deal is.
Yeah.
So I'm terrified of like making it public or like having it be easily found. So I think I have.
Needless amounts of towels. Absent-mindedly making 2 cups of tea.
That's
Yeah.
so good.
That's
Why
really-
did I do this?
Yeah.
That's really insidious.
Or like
Ooh.
like I have my.
Cheers to you.
That's good.
person.
I'm gonna take that. Like yeah, I
can't wear
have
hats.
like a coffee maker, and every morning it's magically programmed to make 2 cups of coffee, and I'm like, what the fuck is
Oh
this
my
2
gosh.
cups of coffee?
Wow.
And so I think I have like, I know the whole point of the maker is that I'm supposed to make things
Yeah.
in game, but I'm thinking maybe I have like an innocuous like sorceress way of hiding my like. It's definitely like a yarn board,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
like that they use on
The murder board.
murder shows.
Yeah.
But it like maybe like it's almost like
Oh yeah, as a maker, you could hide that so well.
yeah. There's
We
like,
haven't seen it.
there's like
Oh,
a
yeah.
Yeah.
I wear like a ring,
Ooh.
and when I take the ring off and I like put it up to the ceiling and I pull it down, it's like a projector screen.
Cool.
So then I can like roll it back up into nothingness and put the ring back on my finger.
Nice. I like that.
So it's like
And
that.
you're keeping your secret with you at all times. It's
Yeah.
kind of you're worried about the house maybe.
Right.
Super cool.
Yeah. Or
Okay.
maybe it is the ring. So like if I go and stay at this like bar,
Yeah.
when I'm alone in my room, I can like pull it from
Yeah,
there.
right,
I don't
absolutely.
know how that would
That's
work.
cool.
I like it.
Okay, so I love, I feel like I have a sense of the character of this house. So why don't we spread out from that neighborhood? Like, what do you, yeah.
So we're doing neighbors
Yes,
now?
so neighbors.
Okay.
All right, so
going.
let's get 4 to 6 neighbor ideas.
Okay.
So hang on one second, let me write down
yeah.
despair, joy, neutral, so I don't forget, because I get too excited by
Think
the
you
ideas.
can't wear hats?
Think you
That
can't
2
wear
cups
hats.
of tea thing is excellent.
Insidious.
Okay.
Okay.
One, I think like a next door neighbor situation is a private detective who is haunted. So somebody who like exhibits many of the same character traits as you, does things like makes 2 cups of tea, but has a reason to do those things.
Whoa, is haunted?
Yeah, like there's a ghost
Who lives
who
inside
lives
him?
no, like inside him or in the same place. This person lives in a duplex
Ooh.
and shares the duplex with a ghost, and
Ooh.
it is a very similar situation
Yeah.
to your situation, but it is one that is logical and makes sense at the end of the day.
Awesome. I love that.
Drive me bananas.
Yeah, that's really good. Oh no. Okay.
Gotta bring it back, oldie but a goodie, well-to-do rats.
Oh, we don't have any well-to-do rats.
There's a robber baron rat and his wife and 10 children.
And the kids are all tied together by the tail.
Yes! They walk this little rat king around to keep him in order.
Oh gosh.
I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to say that.
Okay, well-to-do rats. 2 more ideas at least.
Yeah. I'm formulating this
Okay.
one, so if you have one to like shoot off.
So I think like the district that I'm picturing for you is a lot more like industrial and well-to-do.
Yeah.
I think there is like a sentient factory that lives next door.
Ooh. Awesome.
There is a very wealthy family full of beautiful women who are always getting in trouble.
Ooh. Ooh, super good. Okay. More ideas, or do we want to pick apart 2 of those?
I
Some
think,
good stuff in there.
I think those are.
Cool. What one really spoke to maybe one of you? So we've got the PI who is haunted by the ghost, who's doing a lot of the same behaviors and has so many similarities with you, but has a logical reason for doing so. We have the well-to-do rat family with the robber baron and the large family. We have a sentient factory to sort of represent this very different district. And we have a very wealthy family full of beautiful women who are always getting in trouble.
I like you having this neighbor who's the detective.
I do too.
I like it a lot.
I love competitions that are like. I love people that are the same thing, but like lucky.
Playing off of each other.
You know?
Oh, gosh, you're
Yeah.
so right.
Yeah.
The what could have been or the...
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's really interesting. Did you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, because you can chime in now that.
Yeah, that seems like, especially with my shepherd's minds thing, that seems like the kind of person I would like fixate on and like
Yeah.
spend a lot of time trying to like
So
listen
good.
to his thoughts
And
and
he's
like
like-
figure out his shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
And like he's potentially a good resource for you. He's like a legit
But
private
I
eye.
would
know.
refuse.
I know
I
you're
would
not
refuse.
going to take that help, but
Yeah,
he's so
no.
willing to give it to you.
And I think he probably super friendly.
he thinks you're a
And
friend.
I'm like I come out in the morning to
he's
like
like,
get my
howdy,
mail.
neighbor,
I'm like,
about it.
Hey,
It's
how's
real
it going,
sweet."
Gary? But inside I'm like fucking boiling, and I'm maybe like every day I'm this close to just going over there and killing this guy.
Oh my god.
Like,
But he's
just
also, and
this
it's not like
close.
howdy neighbor. He's like, hey, slick, because
Yeah.
he's a private eye about
yeah.
it. He's real cool.
Great seeing you.
What does he look like? So he's haunted.
Uh-huh.
What does this guy look like?
He looks like Philip Marlowe.
Who's Philip Marlowe?
Philip Marlowe? He's a private eye.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just think
He's,
Matlock.
he's like the private eye from like the LA pulp series.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
So like
Bogey.
high trench coat collar.
Yeah.
I
white
think
hat.
he is a high
yeah.
trench coat collar and hat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is he? That is what he is.
Yeah, that's what
Oh,
he
sweet.
is.
It is the trench coat and the
And the
hat.
hat. And that's it, yeah.
So
Damn,
what's
that's
that,
exactly
what's that,
what it
yeah,
is.
what's that
Is it a
race that
lacuna?
you were talking about? Yeah, where they're just nothing?
And so they're
Oh,
nothing.
yes.
And is it the ghost that's
He's a
taking the
lacuna.
form of the hat and trench coat? Because usually they look like nothing, so they don't look like
Oh,
clothes.
Right.
the ghost is.
I don't know.
Man,
How do you
that's
wanna do
layers
this?
upon layers.
There's a couple ways to combine these.
Right.
What are you guys thinking?
I think
Is
he's
it
a
just
lacuna.
a lacuna who looks like they're wearing a hat and trench coat?
Yeah.
And then there's a ghost who's separate.
The ghost
That,
is
which
separate.
is visible.
Yeah.
maybe.
The ghost lives in the duplex with him.
Yeah,
Right.
It's just like a friendly ghost who
Uh-huh.
also lives there.
Foppish.
Who like moves things around. The ghost moves things around in the house. You know,
Yeah.
that's the.
I say, you coming to our party later?
Are they like a? I don't know. Okay, I'm so excited. About
He's
these
a
guys.
confirmed bachelor, obviously.
Yes!
That's what's going on there.
God. Wow. I'm deeply lost in shipping this ghost and this detective.
Yeah,
Alright,
can
scrap
we
your
can we, do,
character.
can we write like just side fanfic chapters that are just the two of them?
This, all right, I haven't even told you the best thing about Invisible Sun in the whole world, which is besides these characters. Development mode is a thing we do where you set those character sheets aside and you meet up in coffee shops or bars or wherever it is that cool folks like you go hang out. And you take a Sooth deck or the app, because you don't want to carry a big box around, or the cards, and like you tell a story just with narrative. You don't roll dice, you don't look at pools, but you have flashback scenes or flash forwards,
Cool.
or you flesh out side scenes, and you
Oh, that's so rad.
That's gonna be really
the
cool.
meanings of these cards are super rich, and so it's really easy to like both riff off of that, the GM and the player, to see how that scene goes. So there is no reason we shouldn't delve more into these. Like,
Yeah.
side scenes is perfect for that.
Cool.
Anyway, sorry, exciting. So is this a positive, negative, or neutral?
So negative.
So negative.
It's so negative. It's a reminder of something I've lost, and I don't even know what the thing I've lost
Gosh,
is.
and like, I wonder.
I'm seriously like every day I like it's the magical equivalent of like every day I take out a pistol and like put it on my desk and I
Stare at it.
look out my window and like just look at him for a while and like listen to his thoughts
wondering
and then
if-
I put it away.
I'm wondering if you're worried that he's in on it. Like, if this was your neighbor from before.
Oh, he's definitely on the board.
Yeah, I think the only thing keeping me from like just losing my shit and lashing out is like maybe possibly there's a grain of something in that head that I need. So it's
Wow.
like a torture, but it would like hurt me more to think
Yes.
that I missed an opportunity by
Oh,
chasing him away or doing
that
something.
is heart-wrenching.
God.
Heart-wrenching. Okay. Lord. Okay. Do we have names for them, or do we want to pick names later?
I don't have one yet.
Okay. Well, we'll come back to it. There's a lot of
We'll find one.
NPCs
That's
we've
so
come up
brutal.
with.
We'll find one.
What a torture.
Yeah.
Okay,
Ugh,
so we need
very
another
good.
NPC. So we've got one for despair. The other things we were thinking about were the well-to-do rats, the sentient factory.
I think it's like Gray Flintlock or something.
Oof.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
classic
It's
like
that.
Maltese Falcon style.
Gray Flintlock. Ooh. Ghost name?
Something in the vein of the Scarlet Pimpernel.
Oh, that's
Like,
cute. Yeah,
it's like
got a
very
name like that.
extremely.
It's
That's
like a
cute.
title more than a.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
good.
wow,
That's good.
interesting.
We'll find it,
The
but that's a good lead.
beautiful.
Munches is the suggestion.
Munches.
Ooh, an ice cream truck that delivers information.
That's pretty
But
good.
via
Cute.
ice cream, right? You'd have to eat it anyway.
God, and
Aw.
and,
That's good.
like the bell goes off and like all of the detectives and like people on the street.
And
like,
I like panic.
Children! Is this like a detective?
I think everybody in this district is a mystery. I don't know if they're detectives,
okay.
but
But right, there's
Why
lots of,
why is our world like that?
well, you are in
neighborhoods?
Bartown. Like knowledge is, this is a
Yeah,
big deal
yeah,
about
yeah.
seeking, that's
my
very
neighborhood was
useful.
so emotional. So
Yeah. Okay, so what's the next NPC, neighbor?
Yeah.
So well-to-do rats, sentient factory, or very wealthy family full of the women who are getting in trouble. What is calling?
Did you want those sentient rats?
I do want sentient rats. I really like fancy dressed rats.
Oh, can their kids be the women
Yeah.
who are getting in trouble?
Oh my God!
Okay, that's it.
So they're like beautiful.
Beautiful rat daughters.
So they're like an elderly rat family, and their beautiful, like eligible rat daughters are
God.
always like.
So we've added sentient rats who are like they're a lot of things, right?
Oh, yeah.
debutante rats.
Oh my
Do they all have
god.
the same coming out?
So like
Fall
yes,
like this
so
thing.
like the cotillions and oh my
Yeah.
god. Okay, so the sentient rats are a pest problem throughout throughout the city. There are roving gangs of teens who are getting
Yeah.
up to trouble, and there are like wealthy rats. There's a family of them with beautiful daughters.
Yeah.
That the rats are they are a problem for many reasons.
Are these Skaven sized? Yeah. How big are these rats? That is also important to me.
They're rats.
Oh, I feel like they're like slightly bigger than rats, but not big.
So they're rats.
I feel like
Are they like meerkat sized?
yeah, like meerkat height
Yeah.
on these rats.
They walk on hind legs? Or-
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then they're like Michigan.
How else would they
J-Frog.
carry their person? Their
Yeah.
designer person?
And their canes.
Is it like 1920s, like the veils and the offset
Oh,
hats too? Are they
absolutely.
flappers? Are they flappers?
Yes.
The daughters are at night.
The ones who are getting into trouble are Darcy.
There we go. Okay. God, beautiful. Tell me more about these rats who are now living in your life.
Yeah, they.
They don't need to be super tied to you. They're part of
Yeah,
the
rats
I think
around.
I think they're a very neutral thing for me.
Yeah, I can see
where,
that.
Like every so often they have like a neighborhood party, and I like politely decline and like
Oh,
go
yeah.
back to my business.
super cool.
And yeah, I feel like it seems like they're the kind of family who's always hosting something or like
Mm-hmm.
doing something.
Gatsby rats.
Yeah, they're the Great Ratsby, and they're just like around. They're just like around, and it kind of chaps me a little bit that they get to like live a carefree lifestyle.
Yeah. Oh man.
But not enough that I would consider it like
Right.
a real
Negative.
negative.
I love that. But they could be allies, they could be enemies as you go forward. So I really like those neighbors. / they're going to be influencing the dynamics of this neighborhood in
Yeah.
a big way, right?
Yeah.
Occasionally, like once every month, I'd say one of the rat daughters sings somewhere out there to the moon.
I peep through my blinders, go to bed.
That's a very good view. Yes. Are they good singers? What are they known for?
Oh, they're great singers. They're rats and mice, right?
Yeah.
They're great singers.
Yeah.
Do they use magic? Are they
Interesting.
They're investors in magic.
Investors in?
I like that.
I've got many
Yeah.
investments
They've
in
got
magic.
stocks in
They've
magic.
probably tried to invest in creations of yours or commission you for something. I wonder if they're always trying to like bid for having people, under their reign, right?
Yeah.
They're
They
trying
have
to
aspirations.
yes.
And they
cool.
like to
They're trying-
show people off. Like you mean
Oh,
like they're the
wow,
kind
yeah.
of like wealthy where they like to like kind of own people.
Yeah. Super cool. Awesome. I love them. I love them so much. I'm glad they're here. Okay.
They're the King family, by the way.
The king. Beautiful. I love it. All right. 1 to 3 points of interest. Oh, and so they are neutral, but I wrote that down. Good. So, yeah, let's think more about like what this neighborhood looks like, what people go to, what people stay away from. They call themselves the Pipsqueaks. They have a tabletop gaming group.
Oh, that's cute.
Very hilarious.
That's extremely good.
So people stay away from an area called the docks. Things don't actually
Ooh.
like dock at the docks, but the docks, like puddles accumulate there, and then people disappear in the puddles.
Ooh, cool.
Ooh.
Um,
Yeah, I want to flesh that out more, but I'm
But
resisting the
like we can't
urge.
yet. We have
It's
to make
so hard.
things.
There is a punch clock in the neighborhood
Ooh.
where you can like essentially pay a fee to go up to the clock and punch in, and when
Yeah.
you do that, music starts up, and you're very productive while that music is playing.
Ooh.
But it's like a service that you pay, and there are a bunch of people like every day. There's a big line of people who go to punch in, and that
Yeah.
music is playing for them, and then you punch out at the end of the day.
Super cool. I love that.
That is really good.
All right, 2 more.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I had something, but then I lost it
I
during
know, I know.
that.
Okay, we got docks that you can disappear from. There's the punch clock of productivity. Let's see. This place has a lot of well-to-do people. It's kind of got a dark side a little bit with there's a lot of troubles and mysteries. I'm almost sensing like not quite like Twin Peaks, but a little bit, right? You've got this facade of all these people who are really wealthy and doing well, but everybody's putting on a front more than maybe other neighborhoods. Kind of how I'm seeing it, but I could go out. That may not be it.
Things that are useful to makers. Is this an area with a lot of makers?
Good question.
Because like it's your house, so where did you build it?
And
I
does your
think-
family makers?
I think it's more of like a class
Okay.
like neighborhood than it is like like an
Visit?
order neighborhood.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's useful. Then I think there is a church that is a multi church for multiple religions.
Yeah.
And the way that it swaps out is a by appropriate sacrifice at the door.
Ooh. So is the idea that I'm not gonna flesh it out.
Yeah.
Just gonna close my mouth.
Yep.
Okay. Ooh, super cool. All right, so we have docks disappearing people, punch clock that makes you super productive, and we have the church that, with proper sacrifice, swaps out which religion it's for.
Yeah.
One more. Point
There,
of interest.
there is a shop that will repair bad ideas.
Oh.
Like you'll take a terrible idea for a business and like they'll shine it up, they'll fill in some cracks. Maybe they do a good job, maybe they don't, but that idea comes out looking much better than it did earlier.
Cool. Yeah.
So
I really like that. That's great. Okay.
I got one more.
Yeah. lay it on
Which
me.
is a cab that will take you where you need to go.
Ooh, yes.
But in response, but what it takes from you is a thing, and as a group, we should figure out what that hook
Cool.
thing is. And it's definitely not where you want to go.
Yeah,
Do you
super
like
cool.
that cab? Because I feel like if Alan was taking that cab, it would constantly take him home.
Ooh.
Like, stew him in his mystery.
So where are we going? What we picking?
Okay, we have docks that you want to avoid because the puddles, if you step in them, they can disappear you. That's a super big mystery. The punch clock, where it's a service, you pay for it, and it makes you super productive. I should mention that the currency of Saturnine is orbs, which are
Cool.
emotions or memories. Like they're little, and the lowest
place is
currency
great.
are very simple things like the taste of cheddar, right?
Sure.
And so there's a whole deal about how those get made that we're not getting into right now.
Yep.
But the idea of what you pay for things with is a big deal. Okay. So punch clock of productivity, we have the church with multiple religions that's operated based on the right sacrifice. We have the shop that repairs bad ideas, gives it a spit shine, and the cab that will take you where you need to go but take something great from you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, which of those 5 are getting you really excited?
Do you like that cab?
Yeah,
really do
that
like
cab's
that
pretty
cab.
cool.
Cool.
Cool, cab. All right. Is there anything that was striking your mind about the cab?
Just how I feel about it, but I don't know
Yeah.
if that counts.
How do you
I would
feel
like-
about it?
I think,
I would like
well,
to know.
I meaning Wayne, I guess.
Yeah.
I am afraid.
It's too late.
I'm
We've
afraid
become
to
our
get in it.
actuality selves.
I think I'm afraid to get in it.
Cool.
For a couple of reasons. One, I'm kind of afraid of where it will take me.
Yeah.
Because I am worried that it might dissuade, like the destination will dissuade me from my
Ooh.
my quest. You know what I mean?
You can't face
God.
something that
Like
would
if
make
if it does just take me home and drop me back off, it would ruin me because it would be like, no, what I needed was for you to
Something
take
new.
like what I'm pretty sure I need.
Sure.
I'm afraid that what I need isn't what I want. I guess is what I'm
Yep.
Beautiful.
getting at. And then the other thing is I feel like I've already lost enough, but I don't even know what it was that I lost.
You
that
don't
I'm-
even know that you haven't been in this cab before.
Right,
That was a
exactly.
punch.
Then, like I don't even know what I've lost. So the idea of
Oh.
giving up something without, or like being willing to pay a price without knowing up front what the price is like too terrifying.
That's going to be a really cool character trait just going forward, right? Because like there's so much that comes at cost, and you're really gonna. I'm really excited to see your character like
Yeah.
struggle with what they're willing to give away.
Because like I feel like I'm just like trying really hard to
Hold
like
on to what you
hold on to what I
have.
have and
Oh,
like
you're so afraid of
collect
slipping.
what little strands I can.
I think you need to visit the playground and get rid of some of these fears that are consuming you.
I don't want to give any more away.
Fear keeps you safe. Awesome. I love that. Okay, so the cab, like
It's driven by a
Yeah.
woman called the Lady with the Hollow Eyes.
the lady with the hollow
Ooh,
eyes.
that's
Yeah.
rad.
Beautiful. Awesome. What does it look like? Does it look like kind of a, 1920s kind of vehicle? looking
Yeah, I
thing?
think it's like a handsome cab.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Is the cab alive?
I think it has to be.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be to make it work.
Yeah. Is it? Yeah.
I don't
like-
know that the Lady with the Hollow Eyes isn't a part of the cab.
Mm.
Right.
Like they're extensions of each other?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that
There's someone
if you're
who takes
in
that
it,
cab every day.
I think that if you're in it,
Oh,
you notice
gosh.
that like, it's not just her, like her back is hollow, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
A Holdra?
Yeah, you got it.
A Holdra?
That's
That's that
the
type of monster.
Awesome. I need to go look that up. That sounds beautiful. Okay. The question I can't stop asking is it's getting even more like Roger Rabbit now. What is it taking? What does it request? What does it require of people who take
She's
it?
a hollow back girl.
What if it takes what you can offer?
What you can offer.
Ah.
Interesting.
Yeah. It seems like it's so easy, but you have no idea what you can give.
Yeah, that's a never more than you can give. Takes
Yeah.
what you can give.
I feel like there should be, I would like a rumor or some kind of evidence that like this can go really horribly wrong, right? Like What
Sure.
is there a rumor? Is there someone who's been like ruined by this question mark?
There definitely is.
I mean, well, I was saying
It
earlier,
should be
there's someone
someone-
who takes it every day.
Oh yeah,
That's
I'm really
Oh, that's
interested in
so
that.
scary.
Ooh.
And it's normal McSausage Man.
Look!
Oh god.
Oh god! What is
Who
he?
Who is he?
Daniel!
McPherson!
And what does he give her?
Ooh. Okay.
That's a really good.
Do we
paired
want that?
rumor. That's great.
That's good.
He's in a different neighborhood, but that's really.
But they can be connected.
He's got, he
It's
just
where he
takes
needs-
that cab every day.
But where is he? Where's the end point?
She doesn't tell anyone.
But like, do you see him enter it from the sausage stand?
He drives through. He exits. I think every day at noon he exits the sausage stand and gets in the cab and drives through Alan's neighborhood and like gets dropped off back at the sausage stand by the time like lunch is over or something.
What the fuck is he doing?
What the fuck is he doing?
He's so scary.
God, I am terrified of this man.
Well, yes, he's very scary, and that's a great rumor. We should also have a thing of somebody being ruined by this.
Yes, it's true.
But like a prominent politician or something, you know?
Let me see if there's anything in the lore I can give you. So big, powerful beings might be like there's the Thaw, which are like the enforcers. They're sort of, I don't know a ton about them right now, but like they are kind of a major class of person who would be a big deal. There's also, this is probably too powerful, but the Deathless Triumvirate are sort of the three rulers of Saturn.
Sure, that's too much.
Yeah, I think they're pretty big for this cab, although it's interesting. Thought enforcers are, and there's thought forms too, right? There are these people that aren't people.
What if there's a rumor that one of the sons was discovered by someone who took this cab somewhere?
Ooh,
It's just a rumor.
awesome,
But like one of the spooky sons, like the red sun or something.
awesome. Yeah, like maybe it was closed off after the war for a really long time, and like suddenly it was possible to go there again. And the rumor is someone took a cab that day,
Yeah.
and like, yeah, interesting.
What did it do to them, though?
Good question.
They became the warden
The
of
way?
that place. Yeah.
Gosh,
Oh, they lost their ability to leave that.
I mean,
someone
that's
took
what
a
they
cab,
could give.
went missing.
Yeah.
Yeah, what they could
interesting.
give is be the warden of like the scariest place.
Oh, super. So there's the light side path, and on the other side, because this is a
Ooh.
two-dimensional thing, it's
a
not actually
flippy?
drawn,
Oh,
but
okay.
metaphorically, using our imagination, there's the night side path. So it's a path that you can walk on both sides of, and I think it's the night side of the red path, which we'll explore more, but.
Oh, and I like Rourke 9 throughout the idea that it takes away a firmly held belief. You were talking about a politician earlier. What if there was this idealistic politician who was like, I'm really going to turn things around, and like this cab, I'm willing to make any sacrifice for this city. I'm going to get in this cab, it's going to take me where I need to go. And when they got out of the cab, they were corrupt
Wow.
and terrible.
Oof.
And that's why they don't fix the sound holes.
That's why they don't fix the sound holes.
Damn sound holes.
God damn it, just fix the sound hole.
Awesome. So there's like lots of. I like that this cab is generating lots of rumors, some of which may be true, and some of
Yeah.
which are
Sure.
maybe
Who
more
knows?
complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Super cool. Okay, so that's the cab. This sounds like a negative, positive, or neutral.
Yeah, for you, what is it?
I think it's a negative because it's
Threatening.
It's another one of these things that like it feels like it was placed here to bait me. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like I want it's something that I simultaneously has the potential to solve my problem instantly.
Yeah.
Or has the potential to like just completely ruin all the progress I might
Yeah.
have already made. So it's just like the existence of this thing is like presents a problem
Yep.
to me.
Beautiful. Okay. Do we want another point of interest? So we had docks, punch clock, the church with multiple religions, and the shop that repairs bad ideas. The docks with the puddles, disappearing people, punch clock, church,
What do you think, buddy?
shop.
I like the punch clock, the shop, and the puddles.
Okay, that's all of them.
No, I
I
thought.
ruled one out,
Yeah, I rolled one out.
Okay.
or maybe two.
I like the punch clock because I feel like it grounds the district in more.
Yeah,
in-
I like the idea of lines of people punching in. That's a great visual.
Super cool.
It's very practical.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on the punch clock?
So it
We haven't really like fleshed out what that looks like, or if it's in a enclosed area or like a pavilion, or whether it's just outside and benches. with people
Sure.
working.
Yeah, I imagine it like I see lines of people in Chicago waiting for things, you know, like in rote fashion. So I imagine it as like a still that's outside of a building with an awning, outside of like a brick laid
Yeah.
type of thing, and people have to wait around the
Oh,
building
yeah.
in the morning to queue, and
But that productivity is with them wherever they go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super cool. Awesome.
You are always hearing that song, though.
Gosh.
very
and it's
frustrating.
Powerhouse. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
God.
Dun, 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 dun,
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, punch clock. I love it. Positive, negative, or neutral?
Um,
Seems like it could be an asset.
I think it's positive for me
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
and do you if I punch in, can I like go home and work
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
solve it? So yeah, so I
But
punch
it
in.
forces you out of your house.
Yeah,
And you have to like get to the thing early enough that it's not wasted time, because if you're too far back in the line, you have to like wait 2 hours, which might be the duration
yeah.
that it gives you.
Wow.
So yeah, so I try to beat people there and like punch it when I can, so that I
Yeah.
can like just do almost like a coke fueled like like investigation frenzy. So I think it's a positive for me. It's like
Beautiful.
when I'm really feeling stuck or like I want to give up, that's where I
Yeah.
go to like refuel myself.
Cool.
I love that. Okay. Why don't we come up with 4 local problems, rumors, or issues?
Sure.
And then pick 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah. Problems,
So
rumors,
we've
or
got a lot
issues.
of rumors around the cab, so let's stay away from that.
Yeah,
Do something
absolutely.
new.
Let's see. I think that there. I want something to be like coming back soon.
Ooh.
You know?
Local hero or a
Maybe
person or
it
a
is.
thing?
No, maybe it is like. Because this is like a wealthy area full of,
Yeah.
you know, that's so. I think that that there is an old adventurer who is very wealthy.
Yeah.
And like and not just wealthy, seems to, by everyone's standards, war hero, good person,
Yeah.
like a stand-up dude who has been off like
Exploring one of the lesser known sons.
and is going to come back, and every single time that he or she comes back, they rejuvenate the area. So people
Ooh.
are really excited about the prospect.
Awesome. I love that.
That's cool.
That's super cool.
I think a rumor that's going around, and I don't know who started it, is that Alan's character is a delight at parties.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's brutal.
That's beautiful. Oh my goodness. Oh no.
Oh my god.
This is so good.
Yeah, Rourke pointing out sounds like an eligible bachelor for rat daughters.
Oh my god. Okay.
Okay, 2 more. Even though these are amazing. Unless you love both of those enough to just dive into it, which is totally legit.
Well, one of them is perfect. Let's see.
Yeah, so
Let me think.
Oh, since we're in this ritzy upper crust area, I think there is a law in Saturnine because of practices like pre-war practices
Okay.
that have since been outlawed against cultural appropriation. I think this district was built on cultural appropriation, where they literally stole cultures and burned them as fuel to like fuel the industry of this area. And I think like it built up a lot of it, but there's like rumors of like, them sending out agents to like go to the Green Sun, steal a culture,
wow.
and bring it back to me for my mansion, and we won't say anything about it.
Super interesting. I love that. Okay. We've got adventurer who might be on the return and whose return in the past has like rejuvenated the area. We've got the rumor that that Wayne is great at parties, and we've got so this is a pre-war law on the books that's, or sorry, how does it work?
Before the war,
Yeah.
this was common practice, where
Cool, thank
and it helped build up this district, and now it is outlawed because
it's horrible.
It's horrible.
I got one.
Okay.
Dabbing is very dangerous.
What a great rumor!
So like, dabbing, the process of dabbing your body parts into different gels and jams and different substances, that's very hot with kids right now.
Oh, wow.
Super duper dangerous.
Wow.
It's all they talk about on the evening news.
Awesome. Beautiful. Okay, so that is the local, like, the really, maybe there are signs posted about, community watch, no dabbing here, etc. Okay.
It's like the butt chugging of, of this world.
Yep.
All right, we've got 4 things. We should pick 1 or 2 of them. Adventure, or the rumor that Wayne is great at parties.
Wayne is great at parties.
Wayne is great at parties.
It's done.
Yeah, I know. It had to be.
I don't know what enemy you have that did this to you.
I feel like I don't need to know any more about that rumor. I feel like it says everything.
Who started it? I don't want to know.
Was it Wayne?
No, there's absolutely no way.
Wayne would never say that. He's an introvert.
This is a horror to him.
Oh my
Did he
god.
forget that he said it though?
What if you once were great at parties?
I bet maybe that's what it is.
That
I was
must
just
be what
thinking
it
that.
is. So funny. God.
Horrible.
Wayne,
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
Pre-war reign.
like pre-war.
You think so many different people started this rumor, but you did it.
Yeah, like I
Maybe.
remember going to parties and being like having a blast and like being awesome at it. And now the idea of like going to one is like.
And you're
churns my
not sure if
stomach.
those memories are implanted. You
Right.
think
You're not sure.
you're worried.
Or like maybe I only had a good time at them
With the
because I was
person.
with somebody.
This is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
The character is too sad.
But I feel like. So So there's the part
can
where I
weigh
decide
in,
whether
absolutely.
it's a positive or a negative.
Well, yeah.
I think I don't like it. Like I don't. And
But
this
is it
is
a
a weird
brightness in
question
your
for
life?
you.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I think I find it potentially useful
Helpful.
to like go and
Ooh.
try to like read memories of people and
Totally.
stuff and like probe, like ask
Yep.
specific and subtle questions
Useful
and stuff.
questions.
Definitely.
Or like meet people who are coming into and out of the neighborhood a lot to try to figure out if I can like assemble, based on bits and pieces, I can assemble like a real picture of what's going on.
Yeah. Oh man.
So I don't. That's the weird thing about Joy and Despair is like obviously I don't think I'm like time to go to a party, but I also don't think that it's like. I probably don't like going, but it's like a necessary part of my.
I think it's a tool. I think it's, joy is a strong word.
Right.
But I think it's an asset. you
useful.
have.
So yeah, I think as a means to an end of
Yep.
like obtaining pieces of potentially
Yeah.
useful information, I would consider it a joy.
That's cool.
I love it.
When you used to be Keg Stand Wayne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, do we want one more?
Yeah.
Okay, one more of these local issues, rumors, etc. The cultural appropriation law, the dabbing danger, or the old adventure.
I like either cultural appropriation or the adventure.
Well, those ideas are basically
Go
the
together.
same.
Ooh.
Because this old adventure used to bring back
Cultures.
and that's what raised up the area.
That's totally true.
Yeah.
Super cool. So is the rumor that they're coming back soon?
Yeah, the rumors that they're coming back soon.
But that whole thing is illegal now.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And the question might be, are they bringing a culture back? And could this area use the revitalization that brought, right? That maybe he was very generous, and so like the whole neighborhood sort of could use it, right?
What's going to happen?
Super cool. Do we think that's a positive or negative? If it's not super close to you, like we can think about it as overall for the community, but it sounds pretty torn anyway.
I think it's a joy because
Yeah.
it's a potential lead. Like anyone who was here before the war that I
Yep.
haven't had a chance to interact with yet is
Yeah.
like potentially a mine of information.
That's great.
That's great.
This is super
So
good.
I'm like anxiously awaiting this person's return.
I
And
lo-
like, what if it's the person?
Uh-huh.
So that's always a possibility.
Can we name him the White Lion?
Yes.
Hell yeah,
Thank you.
that's awesome.
The White
I've always wanted to
Lion.
name somebody the White Lion.
I love it.
Wait a minute. Are they like
They're a white lion.
a lion?
Yeah. They're like
Yeah.
a person.
A
that's
fancy lion?
yes.
Aslan. Yeah.
Can they be like kind of gender ambiguous?
Oh, yes,
I
absolutely.
feel like I'm especially interested in that with like the mane, right? There's a bit of mane affect. Maybe sometimes they wear it up and sometimes they don't.
I just want a white lion with blue eyes that's like
Beautiful.
a jerk.
Yeah, I love it. Super cool. All right, so yep, lion. So we've got two to spare. We've got the PI living next door and the cab that takes you where you need to go, but takes what you can afford, what you can give.
Yes.
And has caused potential havoc, and there's lots of rumors around it. There are the joys of the punch clock, which makes you super productive. The rumor that Wayne is great at parties, which is not fun, but is very useful to you. And the adventurer, the White Lion, is also a positive effect in the community. Neutral are the family of rats that, is it right that they're neutral? I think so, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
they're not
fine.
like, yeah.
They're just a thing that's in my neighborhood.
Absolutely. And I think that's what we got, right? Super cool. So overall, despite your horrifically tragic character, you actually get a joy,
Wow.
which makes me
That's
very happy.
good
I
because
know.
that's
You could
gonna
use
probably
it.
be my harder one to acquire.
I was thinking so. That's beautiful, and you get to give a wicked key to one of these two fine people
Oh wow.
for one of their ideas.
Who was the cab?
That was Cat?
I love that cab.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that
So
cab
cool.
rules.
Yeah.
Thank you
I
very
was
much.
torn between the cab. Were you? Wait, no, you were. Wayne is great at parties.
Yes.
I was torn between those two.
We're
We're
but
great at
both
parties
very
is
good.
I
very
really
good.
like the cab.
I like that everybody's
you.
starting with a wicked key.
Yeah.
Oh, are we
Yeah, we didn't
good?
even do that on
I
purpose.
was worried about that, but I wasn't going to touch it because this is too precious to possibly engineer anything.
to manipulate.
Any of this. Okay, so
We did the thing.
We are done with that thing. There is just two final things.
Okay.
We need to understand your bonds to each other.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a list of like ideas, right? And they have mechanical influences in addition to being like narrative jumping off points.
Sure.
So we have close friends, fated companions, fellow student, friends from the past, housemates, lover, mystic bond, relatives, rivals, shadow friend. You were friends in shadow. Soulmates, which may or may not be romantic,
Sure.
but are bonded somehow. Stewardship, one of you is protecting the other, or wants to, or an unrequited bond. So one of these bonds, but one person wants something of it, and the other person doesn't reciprocate.
Cat, what do you feel about fated companions?
I love that.
I feel like, yeah, we're destined to be buddies.
I'm good
love
with
it.
that. Your stuff seems to be about like
Discovering.
fated adventure story stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm on board with that.
How do you feel about a shadow bond, James?
Hell yes.
Like we were buds in the
Ooh.
shadow, and now
Awesome. Shadow friends.
Where do we put these?
PC
There should
bonds.
be a PC bonds
Okay.
area.
And your character's name is Kelvin or Calvin?
Calvin.
Calvin
Possible there?
with an A.
I'm sure there is.
Yes.
It's
People I
possible
know,
there aren't-
NPC bonds and
Oh,
connections. Okay.
Super cool.
We're not NPCs.
Not NPCs. People I know.
No,
Non-human entities.
I have PC
Okay.
bonds on the
PC
front
bonds
page.
right here.
Thank you.
Okay, good.
Okay.
I was about to say, this is still like, I think the character sheets are probably updated. This is just the prototype character sheets
Sure.
we had.
So what are you putting for the name of ours?
Fated
Companions.
Is it possible to develop more than one bond as you go? Oh, that's
Absolutely,
super
or
fun.
change it. Yeah, it's super cool. What about Kat and Alan? Did you guys pick one?
Do you want to be like childhood friends?
Sure. Is that a thing?
Ooh.
Like, what would that fall under?
Instead, I could
Yeah.
be like your bartender now or something. But if we knew each other back in the day, it gives us a reason to reconnect.
Sure. I was wondering if I like maybe wandered into your neighborhood or into the bar, and like when I got there, couldn't figure out like why I was drawn there.
Yeah, and it was like, hey,
Hey.
I know who the hell you are, sort of thing, you know?
Ooh.
Ooh, that's fun.
Yeah.
What's your character's name again?
I'm Wayne.
That's right, Wayne. Just simply
So-
Wayne.
So we have fated companions between Kat and James. So you guys keep crossing paths. You frequently turn up at the same places. Perhaps there's a reason that might become later. There's some mechanics, but we'll deal with that later. So what are you two? So have you become close friends? Have you become?
What's soulmates?
Yeah, let's look at that because I think it's pretty cool. Soulmate are two characters. Oh yeah, who have revealed their secret soul to one another. So this is an element of you that there are 13 secret souls or something like that, and they come with powerful abilities. There's a guardian watching over you, But if you
That's
reveal
cute.
it, yeah. So
If we
you
were
two,
like friends when we were kids and we were like, if this world's equivalent of being like blood brothers is that
Yeah.
we revealed one of our
wow.
It's
Yeah.
less harmless
Yeah.
than Blood Brothers.
Yeah.
But man, that's great.
secret souls, we can be
Guys,
be
I love that we
soulmates.
have a group with fated companions and soulmates.
Yeah.
Gosh. Okay.
You are a vector for this too.
Yeah.
God, your character
Yeah.
growing up in a
She's a
trash
mess.
romance.
So we're
neighborhood.
soulmates. That probably scares me
Kitty
too.
heart.
Oh yes.
It's like as much a comfort to me as it probably feels like a liability.
Definitely a liability, and like Kitty Heart's not a good person to be soulmates with. She's
Okay.
a mess.
So shadow friends. So you two knew each other in shadow. So the artist and the what were you like? In
I'm
shadow
a
again?
cold call like salesman
Yeah.
like guy.
Quick with the word.
God.
So how did you know each other? And so it's possible that you had to have known each other.
If we were, he's cold call salesman. I was like an art student. Clearly, we worked in the same place. Like that's not even a question.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What was it?
A call center.
Just a call center.
A cold
Okay.
call
What kind
center.
of call
Yeah,
center?
I think in the shadow world, it'd be fun because you're fresh to actuality.
Yes.
So it might be fun if like you were my supervisor in shadow, and now we have like a weird role reversal where you're new to a place.
There can't be a way that I was your supervisor because I just didn't have anything going for me in shadow.
That's fair.
But
Was it
I like
nepotism?
the idea. Maybe I was just in the office before you.
Okay. Was
And
more
like-
It's
experience.
like seniority.
Yeah, I was like really jaded by the time like you showed up.
And my shadow life was awesome. I loved my shadow life.
Oh.
I was like good at it.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So everybody has a memento from Shadow. So you find yourself, and for some people it's a car, it's a beloved car. It was their baby. For some people it might be a keychain that represents something important to you. It can be all sorts of things. But it probably has to do with something important to you in the Shadow life. Do you guys know what that is? I think you had a cool idea.
Oh, for me, it's a pair of loaded dice, and that concept doesn't exist here anymore. Here, it is impossible to tip the odds in your
Yeah.
favor, but
But
back in
that's
Shadow,
a
it
cool-
was really nice.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's very good.
God.
It's okay if you can't think of one right now, but
I think I have like a tennis ball or like a blue like a handball that I would like while I was like making cold calls with my feet up on my desk and like swindling people.
To relax.
I would like throw it or like bounce it off a wall at myself
Nice.
while I like talk to
Yeah.
people. And I now use it. I like instead of tossing it around, I like squeeze it as like a tick while I'm like thinking
yeah.
about stuff.
Beautiful.
Tell me if this is too much of an undermining of what this is supposed to be, but what if it was this wicked key?
Ooh, interesting.
So like I just, had this cool old-timey looking key in my shadow life, and like I come to this crazy whimsical world and it was always mine.
Who gave you that key of the players here? You got that for.
I think Kat gave it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm sorry, what was I stealing from you in the process?
Well, we're not
God.
sure if you guys knew you were in Shadow. Interesting. Gosh. Okay, so wait, you two are fated companions.
Yep.
Yep.
Did you? Oof.
What does it say?
Well, yeah. I'm trying to this
'Cause-
is super cool. So, while not friends necessarily, two characters always seem to be crossing paths. They seem to turn up at the same place at the same time. Are you the only person who had seen them that you've met who knew you before, right? Who knew you before the war? Because you have no memory of the before life. Did you steal from him a wicked key that then he then showed up with, right?
Cool.
Like post?
I'm into that.
I don't know. You find yourself back. We can flesh it out, but
I think it's a
wicked
good
key.
idea.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Super cool. Final step, all right? The desideratum. So I would hand out ephemera, which I just want to give you a taste of because they're really cool. So these are like objects or little incantations, things like that you can meditate and find like enter your mind, right? And so this is another piece of evidence for the legacy, right? There's no reason you should randomly have useful things fall upon you, but angels exist, and these are kind of blessings. So ephemera would be something like ephemera object would be fingertips of light. This put a mark on your 10 fingertips, and it turns your hands into level 3 weapons usable on ghosts, spirits, and demons.
Wow.
There's some other things. An incantation might be moving at the speed of depth. You step into one corner of an architectural angle and appear in another in the same structure. You can continue to do this as long as the effect lasts. So stuff like
Hands
that.
of Tyndalis stuff.
Very cool.
Yeah. So, but why are you together? What are you working toward? What can you get from each other? So there are basically.
Well, I must be working for you in some capacity. I think Bookman found me a job doing you a small service.
Ooh.
And I can't not run into you.
Yeah, we keep accidentally running into each other.
But right now, this is kind of also the short-term goal thing. Like, it sounds like, things you could be seeking together might be money, power, information, allies, something I wrote and can't read now, or altruism. A lot of times it's information, right? Like,
Yeah.
people are trying to understand more. Do you feel like you're all... So tell me what your short-term goal is again.
Make a powerful enemy. And,
Right, your character arc.
And learn my new weird life.
Super cool. And you might be working with him in the process of which you would very easily make an enemy. So, yeah, so you're trying to solve this mystery of who you're missing.
And I'm trying to settle a debt.
Trying to settle a debt. Super cool. So, do you guys have an idea of what kind of, how your characters would go about solving any of these that might fit together?
It seems honestly like something that might be of use or interest to all of us is the cab. So maybe we're like following leads on the cab on like the off chance that we might want to take it.
Ooh, right, because the cab could solve.
It could help solve my problem.
Wow. Yep. Okay, so you guys are looking into the cab to see what kinds of help it might provide you
Or
differentially.
harm it might
Or
do.
harm.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
and here's an interesting twist.
Yeah.
that might make my character of interest to both of you
Is your next door neighbor takes it every day?
well, yeah, not only that, but like, what do I even have to give?
Right.
I just showed up here.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
It would mean nothing to me if I lost it.
So we
Wow.
might be keen on trying to push you into
Trying
the
to
cab.
push you into the
Yeah.
cab.
Oh man,
It's gonna be fun.
That's really cute. Who are you currently like? Where do you sleep at night?
Here's the thing to throw myself in danger.
It's a weird question, but
I sleep above this sausage stand
like,
because I think I showed up in Saturnine.
yeah,
It was this horrible, weird world full
Yeah.
of like crazy silences, whatnot, and this bookman's like, "You've got to find a place to live and a job, young man." And I'm like, I don't know. And like I'm looking around and like there's a guy made of knives.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a swirling nexus of shadows.
Yeah.
And there's this guy. I'm like, oh, go to this guy and it's like, hey, can I live above your
so
stand?
he
And he's
rents
like,
it out to you.
yeah, he rents it out to
Or
me.
like is kindly.
Yeah.
God, that's really great.
Yep.
It's beautiful. Okay. Oh my gosh.
What a creep.
Okay, so this has been the first session of a campaign of Invisible Sun. So I hope it gave you a taste of things. I love the world building aspect of it, but play is even more fun. Like I'm so excited to see some
I'm
of
excited
these
to see.
rumors play out and other things like that. So what should we tell people to watch out for? Ooh, wait, let's see. I'm gonna give you. I've gone on long enough. I'll give you a divination for that later. Okay. Unless you desperately want it.
I think it's late, so we should
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
it
wrap
is.
it
things
up.
later.
It is late. Yeah, I
Interesting
really
premise.
hope you guys enjoyed this preview of Invisible Sun. It is available now for pre-order. I feel like those of you that know secrets already know what's at stake. So we'll see you next time, heroes.
Yeah, thank you.